Welcome back. You made it. It is day 2 of 3D Experience World 2025. My name is Sean O'Neill, and as you can see, I'm joined by some very special guests, which I will introduce very shortly. So today, you probably saw on the thumbnail, I hope, or in the title of the stream, that really the focus is R&D. So you might think, hey, it's a software company, R&D, research and development. I get that, but that's just part of it, and surely we'll talk a lot about that as it relates to SOLIDWORKS and many of our other products. However, another part of that is that we, of course, have you guys, our customers. And all throughout the year, you are doing research and development in your own products. And I think that brings us to some of our guests. So if we could take a shot at our guests here. I'm on an island. You guys are over there. But I might have to go over there to peer over at that model, which we'll, of course, talk about. So we have Dan Wagner, Mac Legg, Matthew Hall from our community team. We have Gwendy Zaya as well from our partner team. And then we have Jack Duffy-Protentis, who is the CEO and founder of eSki, right? So Jack, let's start there. You're the customer. You're the star of the show here at 3D Experience World. So tell us not only what eSki is. Of course, I hope it's somewhat visually apparent by the model we have on the screen. And as well as your lovely name, which I have to say, eSki is one of my favorite names of any company because it's super obvious in a way to me, again, what your product is aiming to do. But once again, tell us what eSki is, but also why did you create eSki?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, thanks for having me. So, what eSki is we're one of the world's first fully electric jet ski companies. So, sort of how this came about is I'm actually legally blind. And I always say I was born a car guy, can't drive a car. So I got into recreational vehicles. And because in Massachusetts, you don't need a license for those.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So, with some help from friends and family, I kind of figured out my way to, be able to utilize these vehicles. But just from, working on them and just as I got older, I started realizing they're really big polluters that you don't really think about. There's really no environmental regulations on them. And that really started to bother me because I didn't think it was fair for me to have fun and that come at the cost of the next generation's ability to have fun.
Sure.
That just didn't sit right with me. So I decided to do something about it and started with jet skis just because, I think with a lot of other recreational vehicles, people tend to, including myself, tend to go for 4 or 8 hours. But jet skis have this kind of weird thing where after 45 minutes, 90% of people, they're done and happy.
Or they've fallen off.
Done and unhappy. Either or.
So I decided to kind of start with jet skis and hopefully in the future expand. But that's where we're starting. That's where I came from.
Perfect. So I think you and I had first emailed and kind of talked at some point, I would say maybe a year and a half ago. So today, as we enter into the greater phase of 2025, what would you say are some of your challenges, some of your opportunities with eSki? And yeah, just what are you looking to, and also, of course, everyone's watching this. They're seeing this great looking jet ski. They're probably thinking, I want to go out on the water right now. Where can we go to learn more and possibly get one someday?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for starters, you can check out eskipro.com is our website. But, sort of, I'd say some of the biggest challenges, obviously, for starters, it's surprise, but the startup is funding. But, when it comes to the R&D side, we'd first started this project. I had initially looked at doing a retrofit kit that, you could pick a jet ski, makes the cost easier. Somebody could convert their gas jet ski to electric. But we quickly found out with just how much space there is and due to the fact that it's a watercraft, by the time you've put in an EV system in where something was tightly built around an internal combustion engine, the center of gravity was just way too off. So, we end up designing this body, to really have that center of gravity where you want it so it performs in rides like, the fast jet ski that it is. So, I'd say it's just, space constraint and making everything fit. So, that was a big one. And just thermal mitigations as well, with, all these batteries. But we got great solutions for that. I got a great team and, working through all that.
Awesome, awesome, very cool. Well, once again, thank you for joining us. If you're here, we're here with a quick conversation. We'll get to a SOLIDWORKS tech session in just a moment before we get to general session. But I wanted to move my focus over to you, Gwendy, and you, Dan. So the two of you, this isn't the first time that you've met Jack. So I wanted to ask you in terms of your roles and
That's
just you guys.
incorrect, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I passed 1 for 1 today. Yeah. All right. I'm a quick study. So it isn't the first time you guys have met Jack, right? So how do you guys have a connection to Jack?
Yeah, Gwendy, maybe I'll start real quick. We both kind of regularly schedule events at the Waltham office, right, for the kind of various communities and various things that we do. And Gwendy and I actually, like, our first encounter was accidental, right? Like, we accidentally booked pretty big events in Waltham on the same day. And
yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you
have. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, and Gwendy, I think that event actually ended up going okay, right?
Yeah, because I think people were confused. They went through the same entrance door, and then Dan's event was to the right side, and mine was to the left. So we kind of shooed everyone towards ours first because it started first. So it was like happy hour, and so the SOLIDWORKS user group attended that portion first and then migrated to theirs, and that's where we met Jack for the first time.
For sure, yeah. And also it was hard to compete with Gwendy's event. She had an open bar, so kind of hard to compete with that.
Sure.
But then this past summer, well, one thing we do as a community team is work on a beta or preview testing event in the summer. And we're scheduling our one for last year, kind of working on the agenda. And Gwendy reached out and said, hey, I have some local folks, local people in the Waltham area that would love to be there and would probably be really great beta testers. Because that's also something else is like we want innovative people with new ideas to test the new version of the software, right? For R&D, they want to be able to get that feedback. And that's where I had a chance to really work with Jack in the beta event. And Jack, watching you use the software in the way that you do, and of course the amazing products that you design, that was the really inspiring moment for me. It was like, we have to get Jack to 3DEXPERIENCE World.
And here we are.
Here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And here's your eSki as well. I'm going to have to, before we're done with the session, I actually have to look at it. You know, when we do the show, Jesse and I, my co-hosts, we selectively will not look at things in the playground until it's time for the show. So we actually have a sense of wonder. So I've looked past that. I've been attracted to it, but I haven't gone up to it and actually admired its detail. And we'll get a close shot on it. But I wanted to turn my attention to you, Mac Legg, and you, Matthew Hall. There we go. Completion.
What do I do with it now? I just hold on to it?
Can we talk about my completion percentage and not necessarily that you caught the pass? No, I wanted to ask you, both of you guys, right? This is largely a community event. Everyone watching, you know this. You are in our community. Everyone here, we have almost 4,000 people here in attendance at 3DEXPERIENCE World. And you guys are both community managers, and you have a lot going on at this event and well beyond it. So yeah, could you take us through a bit of that?
Well, I'm thrilled to say here in Houston, we got some new things happening.
Okay.
So the Hive has been welcomed into the playground. We're in the circle of trust now, so we have to behave a little more, but that's okay. It's a lot of fun getting people wandering in and meeting and people from around the world. It's such a global community. And it's so much easier to access, not tucked away in a corner.
Yeah, we should say, I mean, so people have asked me, they've said, okay, well, what did I miss with day one? And the easiest answer is just go on YouTube and click day one and watch it. So we toured the Hive on day one. We had a pretty extensive tour with Jesse Sprague and you guys. So yeah, that's a huge change. The Hive is buzzing, like Joe Lance always says, buzzing with activity, right? And it's in the playground, which makes sense.
Well, and shout out to Altec as well. They brought one of their big pieces of equipment. We actually took some photos from the bucket yesterday, so you'll probably see it on social media as well. Great group of guys behind there, the folks that helped design this truck. The SOLIDWORKS model is up on screen. The whole experience is there for all of our attendees. We're doing a little more with product showcase this year, which I'm super proud of.
Very cool. And Matthew Hall?
Happy to be here. I'm responsible for our online communities, but being here at World and seeing all the great users that I'm engaging with from anywhere online all the time and seeing them face to face is awesome, especially at the Hive, which is buzzing with a lot of activity. Just to hang out there with them and have that face-to-face engagement is so rewarding. And if anyone has a chance to get to World, that just it pays off and such dividends to be here. So it's awesome to be here.
Yeah, and it's not just there are certain things that we don't necessarily highlight. I'm sure a lot of you took part in some nighttime activities, some nighttime networking activities yesterday. You probably saw we've been I don't know what someone's laughing at back there. We've been kind of rotating T-shirts. You get so many T-shirts at this conference, so much SOLIDWORKS swag. This is actually from yesterday. So we had the Certified SOLIDWORKS Expert event. Hundreds of CSWEs here, which is pretty insane when you think about it, right? That's less than 1% of your SOLIDWORKS users, but you had hundreds of them at this conference. So if you're looking for your people, if you're a designer, engineer, especially the sort of top of the top of the kind of SOLIDWORKS user base to learn from sessions, just talking to each other in corridors, this is the place to be. Absolutely. So thank you guys for giving some of these great details. I wanted to, however, look at this eSki. So I'm gonna break the whatever wall this.
Join us at the desk, Sean.
Yeah. So Jack, tell us about this jet ski. If we could actually, I'm gonna get out of the way. Could we take maybe a closer look at it, camera-wise? Yeah. So this is a really nice model.
Thank you, appreciate it. Sort of when I was designing just the aesthetics of it, the idea was, if you're making the next generation of jet skis, it ought to look like it. So, that's why I used a lot of negative space. We have all of our lights just for safety-wise, because it is obviously much quieter. We also have our patented hot swapping battery system. So we have all these compartments here. And those are actually where.
Oh, okay. So I hadn't realized. I saw these little little platforms, these little panels. I didn't really realize what they were for. So you're actually taking the batteries out, charging them.
Yeah. So you can charge onboard or offboard.
Okay.
But sort of the idea with that is if, let's say you're a rental company, you can quickly swap your batteries out. If you're an individual customer and you want to keep going, or you have your friends over, and you have your second set of batteries. And also, it just gives better life cycle duration. An average gas jet ski can usually last between 250 and 500 hours, and with 2 sets of batteries, this thing can last 1,000 hours plus. So, the ROI on it is much better.
Awesome. I've a lot of you at the desk. I was so thankful that you guys came here to talk to us before our tech session with Tracy Wettig, which is coming up in just a moment. We'll have Jesse Sprague back to the desk. I'll be gone. Don't worry. No, but as we kind of get closer to wrapping up this segment here, I wanted to give you all an opportunity because, of course, unfortunately, most of you watching this are probably not here if you're watching it live. We would love to see you next year for World, but I wanted to give you all an opportunity just to tell people, how do I get involved with all the great things that you're doing, whether it's buying an electric jet ski or joining some sort of community program. So yeah, maybe left to right.
Yeah, for sure. So, Sean, I'll actually tee it up a little bit and say tune in to General Session live tomorrow. Matt Clegg and I will actually be on General Session.
Watch some more YouTube.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's right.
Get comfy. And we're going to make a big announcement about our community, some upcoming new resources, and really exciting stuff for not only just the user group network, but for the champions group as well. So tune in to General Session tomorrow. For now, till tomorrow, you can go to swuggen.org to find some other info.
Perfect. Mr. Clegg?
Well, as Dan said, we encourage you to get your best and biggest popcorn bowl out to get ready for some incredible community updates. All of us on our team are working very hard this year to evolve our community experience digitally, in person here at World. Another great example of the Champions program, we have an open enrollment period after World where anyone can apply. We do ask that you have a CSWP or better. But even more people are getting those certifications live at this event. So I'm already talking to several people. We'd love to see their applications. But it's a great experience for people to get engaged directly with our community members. We're in a lot of Zoom, a lot of cameras. This is the best way to do it, in my opinion. So we're savoring the moment, and can't wait to see what we have more of later today.
100%. Jack, if I'm an investor, I'm going to give you a lot of money to put into your research and development efforts, or if I'm someone who might be interested in pre-ordering, right, or ordering, right, where do I go today?
Yeah, so you can always reach out to our email, which is contact@eskipro.com. You could also just go to the website eskipro.com, and or our LinkedIn as well as just eSki, or my personal LinkedIn as well. And we're always looking for people who kind of want the next cool thing, or want to invest in something that really is one of the first of its kind, industry leading. So, yeah.
And Matthew and Wendy, you're both working with customers quite often. So yeah, tell us how can we kind of get involved?
There's a lot of excitement here, but after the event, connect with us on our user forum, on our Discord channel, on our LinkedIn group. So keep the engagement.
Discord channel.
Yep.
Okay.
Branching out there.
Okay, awesome. How do I get there?
You can find the information in our user forum, in our LinkedIn group. That's the easiest way for us to connect.
Sweet. Wendy?
I'll have to echo what Matthew said, but connect with us on LinkedIn, connect with us on Instagram, hashtag @3DEXperience. Follow us for more events, Waltham events, But yeah, stay connected with us.
Perfect. Well, it was a joy to open up the day with you guys. I don't know if my day could get any better. No, but please, we'll take a quick break here. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have Tracy Wettig of Trimec as well as Jesse Sprague as kind of a co-host for the session, and we'll be talking about SOLIDWORKS Assemblies, saving views, talk a bit about configurations, a lot of great stuff. This session, by the way, I should say, has already been delivered at 3D Experience World to rave reviews. So you will not want to X out. You'll want to stay right here on 3D Experience World Live.
All right, we are back. I'm Jesse. This is my friend Tracy. We have a tremendous Tech Talk Tuesday with Tracy, which is too much alliteration for this time of the morning.
I feel like it's not enough.
It's not enough. We've been wanting to do something together for like an age. Really what I meant by that was you do all the work and I stand next to you and just learn from you.
Next time I'll have to plan it.
Yeah, you should have called me on that ahead of time. You've done this presentation already at this conference.
I have. It was yesterday at 11 o'clock.
Sean
one
said
of the
to
breakout
rave
sessions.
reviews, which is what I've heard as well.
I can't wait to read them.
I guaranteed the audience yesterday with 100% certainty that I was going to learn something today. So I'm holding you to it.
I'm hoping that information could be from my breakout session here for Save That View with snapshots, display states versus configurations. And there's going to be a little bit more bonus info because I just couldn't help myself. It's more for the users.
I know you.
And I just want to just continue to give more technical love because that's why we're here.
Perfect.
And want to get the value there.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to have to squeeze it all in, so
That's
shall
all
we get
right.
going?
Let's boogie.
Let's do it.
So the model that I'm going to use is very familiar for us this year. I'm
Yeah.
going to use the Proteus Motion Proteus model.
Have you gone
and
to
we're
see
going to
it in
dig in. Not yet.
You got to go play with it. Say hi to Paul.
Maybe I should have done that to buff up for this session.
There you go.
Get the blood flow going. So for the Save That View, I'll speed through this. You know, I've been with a reseller since 2013, and now I'm, able to come into World and try to support you guys. And I've been in the manager gig for about 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm behind a wall and can't talk to clients and try to support them. So in the very last bullet, the gentleman that we just saw with Matt and Dan, they helped me come into the Champions program.
Yeah.
And I feel this kind of event and going and presenting at World helps me give back and contribute and kind of feel like I'm worth still being part of the Champions program to keep getting more info, people get all better.
Of course you're worth being part of the Champions program. We wouldn't doubt it.
So getting right to the meat and potatoes. So the point of this session is we want you to understand which tools that you have available and what their limitations are. So the environments I'm going to check out are going to be save views, display states, the configurations, as well as snapshots. And across these 4 tools, we're going to control 3 parameters. And also at the very end, there's going to be a super secret mystery player that's going to come in that will be very interesting. So stay tuned towards the end of it. We'll lead with the cliffhanger. But we're going to control the parasolid, the pixels, as well as the camera angle. So the parasolid is going to be the 3D data that you're building with your extrudes, your cuts, the volume. And then the pixels are, how pretty are they? Are they hidden, shown, transparent, and such? And then the camera is quite literally the cameraman. And do we have the superhero angle? What's the perspective look like? So this is, as you can imagine, going to be 4 categories and 3 parameters, which makes for a pretty beefy table. So we're going to make this a lot more interesting towards the end. For those that are watching this digitally, there's going to be a very nice opportunity for a screenshot. So you can take that, keep that, cue it up for when you're going to reference it. But we're going to capture and talk about all of this. Yeah, I'll be sure to
I like that
point it
breakdown
out.
though already. That's a good way to categorize it.
Yeah.
And we would be the pixels because we're the pretty ones.
With the pixels.
Obviously. Obviously.
Incredible. So jumping into saved views. So often whenever I was an application engineer, I would teach, and people tended to encounter this by accident.
Yeah.
So the little pop-up box would show up and people are like, what the heck is this? It's immediately an X. And it's like, whoa, there's a lot of control you can have if you want to standardize what your views happen to be. And this information is like, well, why would I do that? An example could be like technical publications or how-to guides or troubleshooting guides, installation, shop floor, for the website, for presenting to clients. So there's a whole slew of reasons why you'd want to do this. And when you take that extra effort to try and unify things, try to keep things consistent, that can show the extra level of detail that you care about your content, and it can make it seem like you're doing this a lot more seriously.
Yeah, and accidentally people just lean on their keyboard and hit the space bar and wonder where all this stuff came from. Is that
Where
what you
did
do?
all of this come from? Right, yeah, they're just mashing cubes for some reason.
Yeah, that's
So-
usually how I work, just monkey hands.
Like my 5-year-old. So we're going to look into the view orientation. This also captures your saved and custom views as well as quickly viewports. So there's a lot of detail, and in this segment, I actually got a round of applause in the middle of it. So I was like, maybe I should just stop while I'm ahead.
There you go.
But going quickly into SOLIDWORKS. So typically when users start to get in, they'll notice that the view orientation is in their heads-up toolbar. There's a lot more info in this very handy more options. And that is also by the spacebar. Whenever you click open, this orientation dialog box pops up. We can pin this. So there's a lot of content in here. So you can, of course, navigate and access the view selector. So some people notice that will kind of pop open and kind of capture their model, almost kind of hold it hostage a bit, right?
It's in a cage.
So whenever you hover over any face, you get this pop-up on the far right to show, if you click now, this is the view that the model is going to be. So it's going to automatically move and adjust it. So that's very unified, always going to be that specific view. So whenever you are in this view cube, I don't know if you've known this, but I'm hovering over it, it's going to the fore faces. If I wanted to go to back faces, if I wanted that back little top facet, hold down the Alt key.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, little tips and tricks, a little 60 and 60 action over here. So you can click on it, it'll swap around. So the view cube has a little secret nuggets about
That's a
it.
juicy one.
And as you've noticed, you can toggle on and off the view selector if that's jarring whenever it comes out, but it's very helpful.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you encourage people to use that? Because some people are a little bit thrown off by it the first time they use it. Do you encourage them to push through it and use that tool, or just do what they're comfortable with?
I mean, start small.
Yeah.
Start, something that's comfortable, something low pressure, get comfortable, and then before you know it, you're going to start using things a lot more often.
Yeah, I tell people to try to get used to it, because I think it really speeds things up.
No, it really does. Another thing inside of your view selector, we also have, the orientation box. We have normal too. Probably used hundreds of times by people in any particular reason. So one of the examples I have here is, let's say I have this model. You click on any face, so let me back up. So I can click on any face, click here, and say I want that to be normal too. It does what you expect, no surprise. But sometimes, what if I wanted that to be rotated 180 degrees?
Oh yeah.
Instead of just toggling my Alt bar, and then it looks like it's on a cruise ship, just
Great tip on its own,
tangling,
though.
right? All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
Alt
great
and your
tip on its own.
arrows
Yep.
will rotate relative to the plane of your screen. There are two selections that you need to capture. So you would want to, we'll make this kind of oblique. Let's say I want the thicker front housing to be on top as opposed to the thinner one on top. So I
Okay.
want a full 180.
Yep.
So what you do, your first selection is the face that you want the normal vector coming at you. And the second one is the second face selection. So also implying it's planar.
Yeah.
That vector has to point up.
Okay.
So I want this component to be on top. So I would hold down Control and click any flat face, Control select. So I have two faces selected. Clicking on normal 2, it'll rotate it. So you want to be mindful of the concept of normal vectors, so the positive normal vectors.
I have never once done that in my life.
There's a first for everybody.
See?
So
I knew I was going to learn something.
the normal 2, so that second selection will stop you if the second option or your second face is not planar. So if I click on that same face, hold down Control, click on something that's obviously kind of conical, when I come over to it, it grays out.
Okay.
So it'll kind of stop you and prevents a jarring error message. It's just you didn't choose correctly.
Right.
So if you can imagine, there's kind of an array of normal vectors that are not pointing the same direction off of that second face. So it's an option. So some usability to help you control. It can drive people mad. People really get very particular how their model looks.
I love that.
So going down a little further, we have save views and also custom views, and they're a little bit different, very similar. So a custom view is, you would adjust your model into like the perfect orientation because maybe that's the front page of the marketing sheet or what you're trying to print out and deliver. So you can come in as tight as you like, get the model exactly as you want it. I'm going to hit the Tab key to hide one of my components.
Another great tip.
And another tab. Tab to hide not only assembly components, but even multi-body parts. You can hit Tab and hide individual bodies. So when you get your model exactly as you like, anywhere inside of SOLIDWORKS that you see that little starburst, it implies that you want a new version or you're trying to create a brand new version of what that tool is. So I want to add a new view. We'll call this top and near. Say OK.
And I find this is a place where people panic with the view selector turned on because you'll see it like return to that. But if you go to save it, it will still save the view that you were in.
It's always
so you don't
going
have
to
to worry
come
about
in.
it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry that you lost everything.
Yep.
So we can swap between, start. We can come back to the near, and it's as we noticed, it's the camera angle. But if we also kind of notice, it didn't bring back my front housing.
Yeah.
So the pixels don't seem to be adhering to what the saved views are capturing, and that's fine. It's just information. We just have data, and we know what's controlled, and we're not surprised by it.
Yep.
So these saved views, these are saved to your document. As opposed to, we notice that Start has a little globe. This implies that it's saved to your machine, so which is how deep into the machine, you may ask. It's deep into your registry, actually. So these saved views, this list that you have here are written inside of your registry. And you can access these, say, if you want this to be part of not only a template, but part of the machine in any file that you happen to open. If that camera angle is consistent with your entire product line or most of the product line, what have you, you can control and add as many as you'd like here. So I can bring to life maybe another view that was deep into my registry. Now it's part of my list here to access and say, well, maybe I want to come back here to the electronics. And you would control and manage to hide, show, whatever you'd like for the sensors and such. So it's very easy to remove. You know, you don't want to have to panic whenever you hit the X, especially if it's saved to your registry. You're not deleting it from the registry entirely. You do get the very nervous, are you sure you want to remove the item? That's just fine. We'll say okay. But we notice it's still over here and accessible. So, so when something's written to the registry, that makes it very easy for admin images. So you can't push that out. So for those of us that remember it being called the copy settings wizard, it's called the save restore settings. You can write out in the very bottom one, the saved views.
Yes.
So this list gets written out, that gets captured, it gets pushed out, it's archived, however you want to see fit. So it's deep in there.
I love that.
Cool. Nice. So I don't feel like making a registry edit right now. There's some other options as far as like the viewports. This is also a usability thing, and what I think is fun is it also has the ability to sync the views. So as I move and rotate, that they're not going to come, excuse me, as I pan these, they're not going to move relative to each other. They're going to stay stuck to one another. But I can also adjust the views here. That naturally makes sense with how they're moving around. But you can use these kind of views to help you locate things. So if I'm locating something tight on this top bracket here, I want to make sure it's not poking up above it. So it could be just a frame of reference. That could be easier. You can also pop into 4 views, which I think is very useful for 3D sketches.
Yeah.
You can imagine if we can see what's happening at the front, left, top, and also ISO, we have a scale of like what and where my sketch happens to be.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, very cool. I use the side-by-side probably most in like the component preview window.
Oh, yeah, that's great. No, that one's a really good one. So that one's going to be in my hands-on workshop.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have that one coming up. 2025 enhancement. Instead of going forward to Y up, we have access for apply Z up views. There's a lot of applications out there where naturally as the import comes in, it's going to be Z up, where in SOLIDWORKS we tend to model in Y up. And when they're trying to remove that inconsistency or that just a little annoyance that I have to rotate the model, I have to orient it and such. So this is very easy to undo. So don't be afraid to go ahead and check it out and try it. Apply Z up, it gives you a nice little warning. Actually, I'll back up so we remember what the reference is. So looking at the bottom left, we see Y up is pointing, through the axis, the long axis of our model, and Z is coming out of, let me look on the side view. Z is coming out of the same face with the electronic housing that's pointing this way. So if I say I want this model to be Z up, then we expect that to kind of rotate, and that would be the default method on how it's going to be saved. So when I do click on Apply Z Up View and say, yes, please, if I do the front view, we would expect that to convey Z up, and we do see that in the very bottom. We'll also see that in our isometric view with the Z up opportunity. So great for 3D printing programs, great for a lot of machine shop, CNC, other external third party, some other internal Dassault products that also would work nicer if it was Z up. Yeah. So it's not changing any of your coordinate systems, which is a question that that came to me. Like, does the center of mass move? It's like it's still there. Z is now just in this, it's just in a direction. It's Z is still Z. It's just how it's exporting. We can return this back to apply Y up. Super easy. Comes back in exactly as we were before. I want to bring back my front housing. So another tip is if I want to unhide a component, move your cursor on top of where you think that it was and hold down Shift Tab. If you forgot where it was, that's okay. On your assembly toolbar, there's a very nice Show Hidden. So you never
Control
left.
Shift Tab.
A Control Shift Tab will do the preview of all hidden components.
I like that one too.
But what if it's nested inside?
Yep.
So if you can't see it from the outside. The next part that I'd like to convey is I'm only showing this in assemblies, and this, of course, can be done in parts. Hopefully you'll trust me on that one. But let's go over into a drawing. There's technically the orientation dialog box pops up in the drawing environment. I don't know if anyone's accessed it. Probably less frequently so because it's
unusual application.
I feel there's better ways to capture it. So let's say someone has decided that they wanted to select a orientation for frame bomb, but all right, that seems kind of strange, but if I go to, what does start look like? Okay, it zooms it out. If I come to another sheet, so the whole point of this is I'm going to a separate sheet. When I click on frame bomb, it's still going to that same kind of XY location of whatever sheet I happen to be on. But a lot of us aren't working in 2-sheet drawings or 1-sheet drawings. We have like double digits number of sheets. I'm hoping not triple digit sheets. But the environment that I encourage you guys to explore, and you may know my colleague Alin Vargatu, I talked to him and I was like, how can I do this better? He's like, have you talked about markups? And markups aren't adhered to only redlining, which is commonly what we tend to use these for. So he's like, you should check out markups, do this. So I'm going to give you guys an example of how to utilize markups. So imagine that you want to come to something that matters, something you want to reference again, no matter what sheet that you happen to be on. So you have a markup tab. We're just in a drawing, nothing's fancy, there's no extra add-in, it's just part of your toolbars. It may be not on, but that's okay. Clicking on markup, you have options for drawing it, you have options for adding text for what you'd like to say. So let's say I really care about that number 5, and I'm just trying to show, and we want to have that as a tilt concern, because we don't want anything to happen to those trying to work out.
Safety first.
Safety first. Just an example. So imagine yourself, we want to mark up a specific drawing view, and also I'm trying to zoom in. It's not tied to a drawing view, it's just in the space. So when I exit the markup, when you go over to the left, this left-hand pane persists no matter which drawing view that you happen to be. So this markup folder is also following you around as well. So maybe it's very helpful for you to rename these. So I'm going to call this one tilt. And let's go over to another sheet and create another markup.
Because the markup is on the drawing, not on the sheet.
Yeah, it's linked to specifically the sheet as well as the location.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to pop over to another drawing sheet, and let's say maybe there is a something on the very front sheets that you have to reference, be it like a revision table or spec that you have to adhere to, and you have multiple sheets that you're working on, something you need to revisit. So for example, this fully balloon drawing, I need to reference and say like, this is per balloon number 55. So whenever you create a markup, you do not need to write anything in it. So I've clicked on markup, we see my edit options are up at the top. I am not going to add anything. So you don't have to feel like you have to doodle on it. You don't feel like you have to add text to it. What you can do is just say, I really like this view and I want to come back to it. So I will just exit the markup just like a sketch. We're very comfortable with this kind of workflow. And over on my markups table, we see we have markup number 2. I didn't add anything, so we'll just call this one the balloon drawing, or just call it balloons. So when I come and I zoom to fit my sheet, let's say I want to go to tilt, double click on your markup, zooms in, and you may ask, where'd the green markup go? Where did that go? So you may need to turn on, it's not on by default, you have to turn on your markups. It's in the hide show settings. So turning that on is going to bring up, oh, there's my circle for the tilt. This is great. And of course, in the balloons one, I did not happen to have anything written on it, which is fine. But imagine if you're on multiple sheets and I need to reference something way in the back, you don't have to toggle and hit the little sheet, arrow over to get to it. You could do a quick markup for where you're currently working if you're like a dozen sheets later, and then you can pop to it. You can easily delete these with just a right click.
That is very clever.
So this is hopefully useful for a lot of people.
I guarantee that'll be useful for somebody. That's clever.
So this was a fan favorite that came up in the session that I had yesterday. So boogieing along for I'm only in custodies. I have a lot more to go, and that's okay. I'll make up the time. So for save views, you can do these in parts and assemblies. You technically can in drawings, but I encourage you guys to look up markups. At the help.solidworks.com. Incredibly helpful resource. I use it all the time, got a lot of info. So
once you start using it for this, you might use it for all sorts of other stuff too.
Who knows what else you're going to use it. So don't think of the word markup, think of favorites, or just like a little bookmark for where you want to return to.
Love that.
Moving on to display states. So display states are going to control, actually I'll back up. In the session itself, do you remember that icon?
Nope.
No. Okay, so that was the old hide show.
Okay.
So before it became the all-knowing eye, I was joking with
creepy
the
eyeball
with the room.
is what I call it.
Well, that was your words.
Yeah.
So, I was joking. We should have a T-shirt to say I've used SolidWorks for this long, and it's like icons that are like long gone,
outdated.
So, so now the display states are going to control the hide show settings, the display mode, which is that wireframe, hidden lines visible, as well as your display states for the colors of what your components are, and then the transparency as well.
I was just saying when I was in the 30-year booth how quickly you forget about things in the past. Any icon that's yellow, it's gone.
Any
out of
yellow,
my memory.
it's gone, right?
It's gone.
So there's a variety of reasons of why you'd want to utilize display states, but think of these are ways that you want to convey a point, or you're trying to convey with colors. And for example, on the very far left one, maybe this is an edge that's very important, and we need to be very careful of this particular part because it's going into a PowerPoint. We need to convey to stakeholders, et cetera. So this is a very quick way, a very light way to help your model be focused in what you're trying to communicate. So going into display states are hidden in, I don't want to say hidden, display states live in the configuration tab. And this model happened to come with some really fun, with really neat display states inside of it.
Yeah, Paul
so
made great use of those.
Display states are always at the bottom, and display states, as you imagine, you would control those 4 settings I was mentioning. But these are preset. For example, if I decide I want to click, a double click will access any of these, and these settings are controlling the display panel. So the display panel is back on the part tab. Clicking on this little arrow, I'm unsure if many users have clicked on it, will open up this display tab, and hopefully those icons across the top look very similar to my PowerPoint.
Yeah, right.
So whenever you are hopping in and out of display states, so I'm going to move down my configuration tab. When I double click on full assembly, notice what changes in that entire column set. Display states are literally changing and adjusting what's in those 4 columns.
That's a great
visual. If you're curious for where that info is coming from, what is different, what's changing and such.
And just a quick thing on the display, if for connected users, you might have 2 little tabs there. You might have to go back and forth because you have life cycle tools there now as well.
No, you're right.
Just if you're using connected, it is still there.
No, absolutely. So up here at the top, for those that are using connected, there's going to be a life cycle, and there's going to be a display state version of it. So it's up there. It's still up there.
It is still there, yep.
So another fun trick for accessing your display states is to right-click on that very arrow.
That's
so right-clicking the arrow will have you access all of the display states that you have saved to your model. So just more usability. SolidWorks is notorious for putting the same information in like 7 different places.
Yep.
So
that was new a couple of years ago, right? And I honestly forgot that was there until you just said that again. Yep.
It's again just a reminder and a refresh on what the capabilities are. So did you ever use configuration tables?
Yes.
So those were, it's not a sexy table, but boy is it very effective. So it's very intuitive. It captures a lot of information with the configurations, and what's new in 2025 is SolidWorks says, let's do the same with display states. Because now I can see what has changed and what's different across multiple display states.
Yes.
So in a very similar environment to that configuration table, each column is a display state, each row is a component that you've changed across any of those display states. So go back, explore the display state table. This one may look a little bit overwhelming with how many display states are on it, but that's fine. Start small. Just start to get comfortable with it and see, this is where you can also control the hide show status of stuff. And all those settings. So explore the display state table, new in 2025. People were saying that's long been waiting for. So another usability that I had added for my session is there are display state tables, or excuse me, there are display state toolbars. So I can access the display states from a little menu that you can mount, and you can latch to anything, I think at the bottom or in the very top right. So you can change your display states, and that's as easy as inside of your view and your toolbars, you do have a display state toolbar. And this may pop up and you can dock it, so you don't have to toggle over to the configuration tab. I can access it from a drop down, and I can see all of them there if wherever your mouse happens to be. And so you can locate it somewhere that's very convenient.
Yep, like that.
Yeah. So along the way, as I've popped in and out of display states, I'm sure you noticed the camera didn't care. Right? So display states are going to only capture the information that is in this pop-out tab.
Yep, the visual state of the model.
Visual state of the model. So There are, just information. Now we know that that's what our limitation is for display states. So it's purely just the pixels. How pretty are the pixels? What does the model look like? I mentioned that it's the hide and show, and I got some feedback of whenever you hide a component, you are literally like throwing an invisibility blanket or invisibility cloak on top of the component, right? It's still on stage.
Yep.
So it's, you just kind of turn the opacity to 0, but that volume is still there, as opposed to a lot of people are very comfortable with configurations where you kick the actor off the stage, right?
So actually suppressing things.
So the hide show state, when you're thinking of hiding components, think of it's an invisibility cloak, but they're still on stage.
I like
they're still
that.
part of the crew. Moving on to configurations. So configurations, think of them as like a different design alternative to your assembly, to your part files. For the Proteus, we had the single handle. I'm not sure if they have the dual handle or the long
They do
handle
have one
mount
over there,
also
yep,
as well.
yep.
So it could be to capture your physically different designs. I tend to have some favor, and I tend to favor the simulation environment. So my past life was FEA, so please use a configuration for your simulation studies.
If nothing else, to take all the fillets out.
Right, take all the fillets out, right? So remember the invisibility cloak, we're kicking our actor off stage because the mesher needs to mesh all the volumes.
I was right there with you. I don't just always immediately go right in, make a config, FEA.
You need to simplify it, but do it smartly. Don't do it like a bull in a china shop kind of style, right? So don't take off stuff that's actually going to impact your simulation for what you're trying to solve. So please leverage the simulation, the configurations for many simulation studies, and that's absolutely encouraged and strongly encouraged. Another example would be for manufacturing steps. So this is also to help imply that we can also reference different configuration in drawings. Maybe that's how you're going to convey that information for what's first, what's next, what's last, this is what it should look like. So this isn't going to be the in-depth, all possible examples of what you can use configurations. This whole session is just really scratching the surface of everything.
Yep.
So I want to get into another quick model here that happen to have some configurations built in. So imagine, it's already winter. I think we're all ready for summer, so we're thinking of grills. Ready to start making some food outside. So for this particular example, we have configurations that are going to control, and imagine that, there's dimensions you're controlling. You can also control material properties. Actually, may quiz you. How many configurable properties can you control?
I have no idea, but I can tell by your tone that you're about to tell me.
What if I don't? I'm just kidding. No, it's 31. There's
That's
31 configurable properties that you can control. So don't think of only dimensions. Don't think of only custom properties. It includes end conditions. It includes what sketch what plane your sketch is on. So it's absolutely nuts. On the help website, I counted every single category. There's 31 configurable properties for your model. So, so configurations it's physically different, similar but different, and we are capturing it in this configurations tab. They're very easy to create, as you expect with a lot of tools. Give a right click. See what's in the right click menu. Right click is like a little hidden Easter eggs all over the place. So with that, for example, if I'm going to add another burner set, let's say I'll remake the right hand burner. So I'll call it like new right hand. Say OK. Whenever you click on a face, we have our very handy breadcrumbs that show up in the top left. Hit the D key to bring them closer to you. We can reference and pull out configurations of other models at any point. So whenever you're doing a configuration, don't think you're locked there. You can go as deep as you want. So for this particular subassembly, clicking on the subassembly, you'll notice, I'm not sure if it's a default, but you do have the option for the configuration to show for you to swap to a different configuration of that subassembly. And we can bring that in. And so now for this configuration, it's referencing a configuration of a subassembly.
And great way to get to it through breadcrumbs too.
The breadcrumbs made this super easy. Makes the you don't have to move your mouse so far, so you can keep the mileage down, resale value, am I right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started. So with our model, we can see that we are swapping over to a different version, and then the geometry is different. Physically similar, but different. So we can swing it over so we're not reaching over flames, like. But in another environment similar to the display states, you can also access your configurations down from the very bottom left. So very same list. We have all of our configurations. As you'd expect, it's in your view, your toolbars, and you also have configurations as well.
Yes, and maybe you're getting to this, so just say so if you are. But there's also, I think, where people sometimes get confused is how those two things that we've just talked about combine with display states, configurations, because there are some options that control the two of those, whether they're connected or not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you can have the display states honor and follow only one configuration. You have the control to say, I want this configuration to only have this collection of display states, this other one, another collection. Or you could say all configurations can play with all of the display states. So those are options. So you can have it be choosy with the pixels, but by proxy it's saying, but we're paying attention to the display states a little bit as well.
Link them together.
Yeah. Another quick enhancement that was added was for your configurations, you can also sort them.
Yeah.
I think I was brought in a couple years back, numeric, literal, manual drag and drop, so whenever configuration tables start to get super long, we have a usability to make your life a little bit easier. And maybe that's one less cup of coffee that you have to deal with for the morning.
Probably not. I enjoy my coffee, but I'll still use the right click. I like that.
No, it's good. So moving through. So the configurations, they're accessible through the parts and as well as the assemblies, and I have can link pixels in the top corner.
Okay,
So I encourage you guys, so the configurations are going to control the parasolid. So when you're suppressing something, you are removing that parasolid. I would tell students it's an easy to undo delete button. So be very purposeful with it, because it will, if you're not conscious of, am I okay deleting this, what's downstream? So there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of self-awareness of the model that you want to be mindful of.
Great point.
So snapshots. Have you played a lot with snapshots?
Not a lot. And of these topics, I was excited to see that you put that in there, because I think it's definitely underutilized.
It's certainly underutilized. So imagine like display states and configurations are two circles, and the snapshot's starting to make them into a Venn diagram. It's starting to combine a few features of them. So to list out what it's going to control, it will control the hide show. You can capture, the hide show. You can capture transparency, section view, which we haven't talked about yet, as well as even exploded views. So we can have that as like a easily to jump back to reference for our models. So no one tool does that I've discussed so far. And this again is just a usability. You're not going to be in it every single day, but man, is it nice to just pop back over to that. And I didn't have to reset the model. I didn't have to remember what that setting was. I don't have to remember where those planes were. So in true SOLIDWORKS fashion, 4 ways to get to it at least. The 4 I found. So there are snapshots are available in large design review. So when you are in those large assembly environments, and that's another tip, is it's only in assemblies. So you can also add the snapshots to your gesture wheel as well, so that can be its own option. So depending how liberally that you're adding snapshots to your model, you have complete control over that.
Yeah, that's a great place to put it, actually.
Yeah. So the example that I have is going to be coming back into our Proteus model over here. So I mentioned that we can capture the hide show state, kind of transparency and such, as well as I'm going to bring in the explode view and the section view. So adding an exploded view to this model, I'm going to grab, holding down shift to click on the face of the transparent component, right? Because otherwise you click through it, hold shift. And then I'm going to also grab this top housing as well. I'll auto space the components just to have it a very nice, kind of cascade of where the different model is. Just a quick explode view, use your imagination, make it more complex than you need it to have it to, as well as going into the section view. So the one that I really enjoy is the zonal section view. I don't know if you guys have played with it much.
Love the zonal,
but this one was added back in 2014, and I had clients in 2019. They were like, how long has that been in there? So zonal section view, so imagine that childhood picture, or we're in a very fitting place for Houston, picture of the Earth, right? And we have that cut where we can cut the equator, we cut it like, across
everybody knows what you're talking about, I'm sure.
Longitude lines, right? And we can see the crust, the mantle, and the core and such. Imagine doing that in SOLIDWORKS without zonal sectioning. You take your first cut, there goes the southern hemisphere. I didn't want to get rid of all of that. So the zonal section view is really nice. Another little tip I just can't help myself. I just want to keep adding more content. So I'm doing just 2 zones for this one. And as you can see, there are 2 sets of planes, and just how it's sectioning the model itself. You click on any of those rectangles and it will cut your model. So I'm going to select this one here. And we can see that it's cutting the components inside. You have options for excluding components that you don't want to cut because you want to convey continuity. So you have all of that is part that you have control over. So explore zonal section views.
I like exclude, particularly with the zonal. I think that looks really cool.
It's really eye-grabbing and help to convey like what's inside. So I have a section view as well as an explode view, right? So let's add that snapshot.
Okay.
So another easy way, right-click, add snapshot. Won't do too many keyboard shortcuts here just for introducing a topic. Say add snapshot, we'll call explode and then section. Say, yeah, let's rock and roll. So we're capturing the hide show status and then all of those other components. You're going to notice you're always going to have a home snapshot. That's always going to be there. It's like default. It's like configuration 1. It's like default configuration, default display state. So clicking on the home is going to show you what the model looked like across all of those all of those parameters, what it looked like when you opened it. So when I go back to explode section, it's going to adjust your model back to where you had it, including the explode and the design and the section view. This is kind of a similar. Similar to isolate, so you can exit out of the snapshot and it will bring you back to where you were before you reference. So this is hopefully nice usability. I'd say cautious if you are using multiple configurations because you'll have to know which configuration it was in and it will capture those settings from that config.
Config specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So,
great.
I do want to boogie. There's I still have my mystery person to introduce towards the end. So snapshots, it's some parasolids, some of the parasolids captured because you have to be in that specific config. It's some of the pixels because it's not doing the colors. It's only the hide show and the transparency and all camera and zoom, only in assemblies. My wrap up.
Put a bow
I wish
on
I was paid by the word. So this is a great one for those that are doing screenshots at home. So do your screenshot, and the one that was actually shame on me. Your saved views will also capture the section view and explode. So you may want to add your own little asterisk. So that's a shame on myself, but want to make sure the right info gets out to you guys.
That's okay. We'll still have you back.
So. Are you sure? It's like the break the dinner plate. So we don't have something that's kind of doing everything. It seems kind of underwhelming. So the one that I do want to bring up to you guys is SOLIDWORKS MBD. So the drawing list manufacturing. Enter player 5. Do you have 5 controllers? Anyway, no. So this is static. So imagine we can capture what the configuration is, what the display state is, what the angle of it is, what the section view happens to be, on top of annotations, dimension experts, all the PMI information, tables, notes of what you're trying to convey in your model. You don't have to kick this out into your drawing list manufacturing pursuits, but the SOLIDWORKS MBD is an add-on, and it will capture all of the information that I have shown already. And what's also nice is you can also export this out to eDrawings for the neutral reviewer that needs to have stake in this particular model.
Yeah, that is a great point, because I think a lot of people would not think of using MBD for that purpose necessarily. Think of it just for the PMI data, exclusively. But
on top of, as
well as, and now we've added, additional exports for you can send a step 242 right out of share and send it to play or wherever wherever you want to go with it. It's a great point.
So this is the one. So hopefully this information was educational for which tool is the right one for what you're trying to achieve. And I want you guys to explore each of these, including SOLIDWORKS MBD, and hope you guys have a great conference.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank
You're right smack on time, too. Look at you are a professional,
like
a true professional.
It's
like you've done this before.
Cool.
All right, well, it's just about time for general session. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm certain you got something out of that, because I did. Thank you, Tracy.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure, Jesse. Cool, thank you.
Please take your seats. Our program is just about to begin. Please welcome Tracy Wilson.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 2, and welcome to another fantastic day here at 3D Experience World. Yeah, okay, I'll take that. I'm never gonna turn down a woohoo. This morning, a variety of customers will share stories about how they use SOLIDWORKS and the expanded portfolio to bring their ideas from concept to manufacturing. You'll also discover some technological updates planned across design, simulation, governance, and manufacturing domains to address needs for today and in the future. So to get us started, please welcome SOLIDWORKS CEO Manish Kumar.
Good morning, Dallas. I hope you are seeing red everywhere, because that was our intention. Thank you. Now, every day, you create, innovate, and solve problems, often without even realizing the profound impact you have on the society. Let me share an example today. In 2019, you know that a fire devastated Notre Dame Cathedral. But after years of restoration work, it reopened in 2024. Now, removing the scaffolding without causing damage, it required precision engineering. These truck-mounted cranes help workers reach hard-to-reach places in a safe and secure way. And these cranes are designed and built by Ruthven using SOLIDWORKS. Close to home, next time you are in some kind of trouble, some kind of need for help, you might see an Altec truck restoring power lines, Napa truck fixing your cars, plumbers using them, a Great Dane trailer delivering your supplies. And this is a very small sample that I'm able to share with you. This is the power of this community. Your work shapes history, connects us all, and drives the progress. A big clap to you for all the work that you do for the society. Now, there is a small group of people here representing a large group of community, I would say, 10,000 plus, who help us make all this happen, the Dassault Systems R&D. Please stand up, guys. Can we have a round of applause for them? Now, I promised yesterday that I have a lot to share with you, so without any further ado, let me get started. Let's get started with AI. Last year, from this stage, we promised, and it was delivered. Command Predictor, an AI-based tool that learns from your workflows to predict your next command. No need to navigate through menus or search commands. It is delivered in both XDesign as well as SOLIDWORKS. We also shared the vision of AI-driven generative drawings to help you automatically create drawings from 3D models while making you more productive and saving you your precious time. I'm happy to report to you that the first phase was delivered last week, and we will continue to make this tool learn continuously to improve in its capability as well as precision. Now, we are developing even more AI-powered features to improve your efficiency across design to manufacturing process. Smart Insert component will recognize common hardwares like bolts, fasteners, and automatically apply smart mates as you insert them. No more manually selecting mate references. This feature intelligently places components where they belong. It significantly reduces assembly time, eliminating guesswork. Now we are taking AI-driven image to sketch capability to the next level. We will generate sketch by identifying entities as well as constraints. We will also generate dimensions automatically using AI. You will go effortlessly from image to sketch kinematics. Amazing, isn't it? Now, let's dive deeper into the video that you saw yesterday to reveal how generative experiences and virtual companions are going to reshape the entire design to manufacturing process. How do you build something in real world? You gather components and bring them together, right? In virtual world, you get them on part supply. You bring them together in your virtual environment. In real world, you lay them out, you look at them, and you figure out how objects must be placed together. And then you assemble them. In virtual world, with Aura and our generative assembly, mechanical assembly, you will do the same. After few clarifying questions, it instantly creates a fully assembled model, no tedious manual work, just instant assembly at your fingertips. You will even instantly play with your experience with real-world behaviors, highlighting any potential issues long before physical production. Now, imagine you need a 3D model of an existing part, a handle, for example. You take a picture, and Aura's generative 3D part functionality kicks in. It analyzes the image and transforms it into a precise virtual twin. This model is already ready for scientific simulation in the virtual world. AI-based virtual twists simulate real-world stresses and conditions, ensuring each component performs exactly as it is intended. Now, how many times do you start to sketch only to spend precious time constraining in every little detail? Let generative AI be of help. Sketch directly on your model, and generative dimensions automatically constrain every line, every arc, freeing you to focus on creative innovation. When you are ready for production, imagine your digital design coming to life with precision of master craftsmen. The generative NC machining transforms your design into reality by charting tool paths and fine-tuning parameters, cutting waste and reducing cycle time. Finally, step into the mixed reality. experience your assembly at full scale, inspect every detail, and know it is ready for the real world. That's the journey from concept to creation with XDesign, Aura, generative AI, and Virtual Companion. I hope you like it. Of course, we are not done. Picture to mesh is good, but what if you want to modify that mesh? Mesh to 3D will convert mesh bodies into fully editable parametric model. Whether you're working with 3D scan data, imported mesh files, or legacy CAD models, this feature, once fully developed, I must say, will provide a seamless way of transition from complex mesh geometry to native parametric feature, making modifications easier than ever. Here, the beauty of Dassault Systems R&D is that we have a lot of resources. So multiple teams are exploring different ways of delivering what you're looking at the screen. You shouldn't be a prisoner. We believe that you shouldn't be a prisoner of non-modifiable mesh geometry, right? Now, Aura is also going to change the way you work. It is only AI, generative AI tool, I must say, that works in the context of your SolidWorks environment. And given that context, you can get deeper answers, like regulations that you should be aware of, or even automatically generating 3D solutions for you. And why stop there? Ask it to work for you. Ask it to create a change request on your behalf, and it will. No more going through various apps. Now, this one is cool. Imagine I want to generate a photorealistic image of this van placed on a gravel campsite next to a foggy lake. How much time will it take you? What if I say seconds to get the results like you see on screen? No more manual setting of materials, lighting, backgrounds. Simply type a text prompt describing the scene that you want to describe, and the AI will generate fully rendered image. What do you think about that? Now, there are even more generative experiences coming your way, but I am restricted by time, so let me try to move on. What else have we done for you? To deliver the values that you need, we always listen to you. Through various usability testing, alpha testing, beta testing, enhancement requests that you submit, and so on, then we prioritize them and deliver as many of them as we can. You vote for your top 10 requests at this seminar, right? We have implemented over 66% of them over the number of years. In SolidWorks 2025 alone, we have delivered 38 enhancements coming from this list. Now, for example, here, we provided interference detection capabilities when in large design review mode, so that you can open large assemblies instantly and still perform interference checks. You can add configuration tables to drawings and create flattened BOM, allowing you to show the total quantity of all components, even in large multi-level assemblies. And you can add bend notches to sheet metal parts to indicate bend line locations for manufacturing. Let's look beyond World Top 10. 3D Swim and SolidWorks forums are now seamlessly integrated inside SolidWorks, making collaboration smoother than ever. Are you new to SolidWorks? Use simplified user interface. Even my daughter likes it. You can even purchase SolidWorks directly from our website. You want benefit of platform with your existing data? Move it to platform with 3D Transition Assistant. We have delivered hundreds of enhancements in 2024 alone. You know about SolidWorks for Makers. We now have over 85,000 active makers using SolidWorks for Makers. That's one amazing community of passionate dreamers and tinkerers. We recently added a new offer for makers. All our browser-based applications, which are nothing to install, which are perfect for Mac Chromebook, we have created an offer, and we have given it to you. This SolidWorks for Cloud app for makers include apps for modeling, sculpting, drawing, motion studies, and more. You asked and we listened. Launching in Q1 of this year, we are also adding cloud rendering. You can create stunning images and animations from any device, all utilizing cloud computing. Your Maker subscription even includes cloud render credits for you to start creating amazing content right away. Do you want to showcase your incredible creations and build your reputation? Come to our Made in 3D community. We have thousands of posts from makers like you bragging about their own projects, offering guidance and suggestions, inspiring your next great personal project. Boost your reputation, build your resume, and grow your network. We also serve hobbyists. This is a secret, apparently, but with over 250,000 woodworkers using this secret app. This is called Make by Me. They have used Make by Me in order to create these beautiful wooden furniture, like the one you see on screen here. And for those who don't know about this hidden gem yet, Make by Me is our intuitive and easy-to-use app for designing and building woodworking projects using real material, tools, and joinery methods. And today, I'm thrilled to announce that Make by Me now is on Apple Store as well as Google Play Store. Install it today. It is free. Bring your creative visions to life anytime from anywhere. Now, this is the most important segment. The future problems will be more complex, and the next generation is going to solve them. Teachers are the most important pillars of our society, and they are rising to this mission, and we are here to help. Introducing the teacher role, we are launching it globally this summer. This summer, every educator on subscription will get a teacher role. Teachers can easily create courses using templates or build new ones, invite students to classes, publish assignments, collaborate seamlessly with built-in feedback and notes. It's everything they need to simplify teaching and inspire learning. But what about students? What are we doing for them? Keep in mind that this audience is device and place agnostic. We are planning on delivering something unique for this audience. Let me show you. Students should be able to sign in using their own email ID with the help of single sign-on. Once they go to design for the first time, they will see an environment which is created just for them. They will see learning content with videos as well as pre-built 3D models. We believe that students should be able to experience the power of virtual twin right away without needing to build their own. Creating a model should be extremely easy. It will be the familiar interface of XDesign. Students will easily learn designing from anywhere using any device. Students will be able to navigate the content easily in an intuitive way. We have designed a unique and pleasing experience just for them. We are going to build a classroom experience directly inside XDesign. Students will be able to navigate learning content posted by teachers. We will also make it very easy for them to follow step-by-step tutorial. Students learn by doing, right? And we acknowledge that. And we have made it very easy for them to do just that. But a class is not complete without assignments. We took care of that as well. Students can discover new assignments posted by the teacher. After completion, right from within XDesign, they can submit the assignments, along with any other material they may want to attach with that assignment. It is literally that simple. We will release this experience in steps starting second quarter of this year. Our goal is to make learning fun, because you know, when learning is fun, you don't even realize you're learning. And we want it to be fun. Learning should be fun. Thank you. Now, you heard from me. It's my pleasure to invite three of your fellow innovators, Aurora, Will, and Chris, to join me on stage. Please come on stage. Now, to kick things off, why don't you introduce yourself? Let's start with Aurora.
Thanks for having me, Manish. I'm Aurora. I'm a biomedical engineer representing by 3D Printing, Italia's first bioprinting company, with the aim of bridging more than 15 years of academic research at University of Pisa with industry solution. In 2022, we launched our flagship product, ElectroSpider, which is an innovative multi-scale and multi-material bioprinting ecosystem.
Will?
Hi, I'm Will from Southern Beams Builds. Our mission is to develop and deliver renewable energy solutions that can be deployed quickly to remote locations. Our flagship product, Dragon Wings, is the world's first industrial-scale solar generator.
Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. My background is in naval architecture. I have spent most of my career designing hydrofoil boats and underwater robotics. I am now a co-founder of a company called Dolphin Labs. We are a small but passionate team of 4 focused on converting ocean wave motion into electricity for defense and oil and gas applications.
Thank you, Chris. In fact, just before coming on stage, I realized that Chris has been a user of SolidWorks for the last 20 years, right?
Years, yep.
Thank you, Chris. Now, you're all doing remarkable work, of course. Aurora, starting with you, the 3D printing of human cells, it sounds coming straight out of a science fiction movie. Could you tell us more about what exactly your printers can do?
Well, Manish, for those who are not familiar with bioprinting, it's a process where 3D living construct can be created from a digital model layer by layer using biological material like cells and biopolymer. ElectroSpider combines standard and advanced bioprinting technology to engineer 3D living constructs that resemble human tissues. ElectroSpider can be used to print fragments of human tissue that can be used for drug development or for testing new drug or cosmetic, therefore reducing animal usage, and also can be used for tailoring medical treatment. We aim to bioprint patient-specific complete organ to address the shortage of organ for transplantation and rejection risk.
Amazing.
I brought some bioprinted parts with me. Would you like to hold them?
Sure. This is a ligament, right?
This is a piece, yes, of ligament.
So, GP, next time while skiing you tear your ligament, you know where to go. Italy. Thank you, Aurora.
You're welcome.
Now, Chris, let me ask you. You went to beach, and instead of working on your tan, you said, let's turn these crashing waves into energy, right? Is that how engineers think?
Well, I thought always all engineers think that way. You see a resource and you figure out how to use it. So we saw an opportunity. Every wave that crashes onto a shore is energy that's just waiting to be harnessed. Our mission is to convert that energy into a sustainable resource or electricity. We are a small but mighty team. There's just 4 of us, plus some amazing consultants, and we're working to make renewable marine energy a reality.
Amazing. Now, next time you go to a beach, try to find similar inspiration, okay? Do not just tan yourself. Now, Will, your company is changing the way power is delivered in the remote places. How?
Dragon Wings is a mobile, modular, fully integrated solar microgrid. It features an expandable 25 kilowatt solar array, an onboard energy storage system, and multiple power outputs. What makes it truly innovative is its ability to be rapidly deployed, delivering clean energy to remote locations. In fact, we recently put one to the test in an off-grid environment, and within minutes, we were providing sustainable power, proving just how impactful it can be for communities and disaster relief efforts. Seeing it in action really reinforced why we do what we do.
Now, I'm hoping to see that at our next EDM festival, right? Now, how did SolidWorks help you design and collaborate on such a complex task? Let's start with you, Will.
Working with vendors was challenging. Version control issues, endless emails, miscommunications. That stuff slows us down. It feels like a bad group text. Too many messages, too much confusion. Now, with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, every vendor has real-time access to all of our latest design files. No more outdated information, no more costly delays. Cross-disciplinary collaboration is an essential part of our production process. As we move to integrate SOLIDWORKS Electrical, we're going towards a fully digital, interconnected workflow. Whether it's a structural steel beam or a complex wiring harness, we can take every single part of our product from concept to reality and keep everyone on the same page along the way. It's incredibly exciting for us.
Wow, okay. Now, if you think about it, it's huge because your challenge was external communication. Now, Chris, your challenge, I believe, was internal communication, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
How did you solve it?
So our team is distributed across both coasts, East Coast, West Coast. Literally, when we got started, we were emailing files back and forth. This was before 3DEXPERIENCE, trying to track part numbers using an Excel spreadsheet. We're doing more data management than actually innovating. So now that we've transitioned to 3DEXPERIENCE, we've got zero IT overhead, everything is in one place, we've got no outdated files, no confusion, we've got real-time collaboration, and we've also implemented enterprise item numbering, which has really transformed how we work. So my days of managing Excel files and part numbers, that's over, that's done. We're finally automating our processes and truly pulling that into the engineering process. We can now work together seamlessly, even with teams in different time zones, and that has really made a huge difference in our success.
Thank you. Now let's come to you, Aurora, sorry. Your team had a different challenge. You had to deal with kind of multidisciplinary design, right? Can you tell us how SOLIDWORKS helped?
Indeed. Where needs were diverse. We want to cover every aspect of our design, from the multi-tool printhead to the overall system. And we need solutions for modeling, simulation, visualization, so on. We need a comprehensive solution that works well in all these domains. And SOLIDWORKS with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform was the perfect fit.
Perfect. So it's amazing how mastering collaboration was what everyone needed. That was the central challenge to achieve efficiency. Streamlining work with vendors, internal teams, or even across disciplines with a single source of truth. That was what was holding back the teams. So now, one last question. How does AI impact you? So, Aurora, let's start with you.
And ensuring consistent quality in bioprinted structure is essential for reliability and meeting regulatory standards. And to achieve that, we are exploring AI-driven in-process quality control that monitors and adjusts each stage of the bioprinting process in real time, ensuring that every bioprinted part meets the highest quality and safety standard. And by implementing this kind of intelligence, we are able to foster the translation from research to clinical use.
Awesome. So complying with regulations is how you are going to help your life with. Chris.
Yeah, so we know that AI takes a lot of power, and it can use a lot of energy. At Dolphin Labs, we are starting to use AI to process our data at sea using edge computing, and that allows us to send smaller data packets back to the beach. This allows us to contribute to the AI revolution by monitoring ocean health, working on a better and greener world.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Okay, so you heard amazing stories. Now it is time to wrap up my session here. There are 4 more coming, so please do not go away anywhere. Now, please remember, we have an amazing party tonight organized just for you. And I hope to see you all there. I have my dancing shoes on. You have one task. You have to make sure that GP and Suchit also dances with us, right? So that's your task, not mine. Aurora, Chris, and Will, thank you for joining me on stage. Have a wonderful evening. See you all tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Manish and to panel. So good. Dance and shoes come in. It really is great to hear all about the user-driven enhancements they continue to deliver in SOLIDWORKS and about the upcoming AI enhancements as well. Well, the trailblazing innovators that you just heard from provided examples of design and collaboration in action. Our next group will explore how you can better leverage your SOLIDWORKS data with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to help you manage your product design cycle. So please welcome Innovia Roles Portfolio Senior Director Kenneth Hallberg, Global Partner Sales Manager Angela Smith, and guest technical lead from Annie AI, Kong-Kyu Lee.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Kong-Kyu Lee. We are so grateful to have you join us here today to share the story of Annie AI. Now, they have brought two things together that I think most of us love, hamburgers and robots. So Annie AI is the name of the company, with the chief product being the Alpha Grill, described as a hamburger cooking robot. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Alpha Grill?
Alpha Grill is double-sided grill designed that can cook up to 8 patties simultaneously or 200 patties per hour. Increasing output and lowering operating costs is not just through the robotics of the Alpha Grill, but AI and further automation technology with our product called Alpha Cloud. Next-level precision in burger preparation with Alpha Cloud, our groundbreaking AI technology, ensuring consistent results with Alpha Grill's cooking, supported by Alpha Cloud's assurance.
Amazing. So innovative new technology and connectivity applied to a traditional business industry, but making it even better. I love it. So speaking of new technology to improve business, I'm interested in finding out how Annie AI first started using the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And it sounds like you guys were growing really quickly. What issues were you facing, and how did the platform help address those issues for you?
In 2021, we had 5 people total within the company, with 3 of those being CAD designers using SOLIDWORKS. By 2024, we had grown 900% to over 50 people. Now, we have 12 CAD designers, 2 release engineers, and half of the research engineers are software engineers. With more than 4 people, the management becomes the challenge.
Right, management of the design, the manufacturing, overall projects, delivery timelines. So how are you using the platform today, and what functionality do you think has brought the greatest value for your team so far?
Engineering collaboration and collaborative review. I have used SOLIDWORKS for over 10 years. Having an enterprise-level solution directly connected to SOLIDWORKS was important. Also needing capabilities beyond CAD. The Alpha Grill has over 5,000 components. With product release engineer, we have BOM management, which is really important. Helps with release control and managing maturity. With 3D Product Architect, we can move components in space for non-configured structures. Using it for visualization, opening quicker than the assembly in SOLIDWORKS. And I can take measurements on the full assembly. Our field service engineers will utilize this role more in the future when on-site with customers. The 3DEXPERIENCE platform provided us with an agile product development process, with no IT investment or additional hardware, nor servers are needed, while providing additional data security overall.
Fantastic. So you're able to easily design, develop, share securely across differing teams, communicating important changes, all while staying connected to your SOLIDWORKS data?
Yes, and having this system in place allowed us to scale and grow at quick speed to remain competitive and meet our market needs without compromising quality, security, profits.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kong-Kyu. So Kenneth, what do you think? Now does it make sense why I wanted us to dress in hamburger costumes? Such a party pooper.
You know, Angela, I'm starting to understand that now, and what a game-changing the Alpha equipment is. And with this level of sophistication, I'm really curious, how do you manage your product design cycle?
Sure. One of the big benefits for us with 3DEXPERIENCE platform is that our field service engineer can go to a customer site and show the full product in 3D to the customer. They can then capture feedback and requirements interactively together to avoid misunderstandings. And have everything saved directly to the cloud. We can even share the markup and suggestions live with our coworkers back at the office for immediate feedback.
Okay, so was the support from anywhere using any device the strongest reason to go with the platform?
Not only. We needed an agile process overall, where we can collaborate across teams in a safe way, but without a big IT investment nor servers of our own. We also wanted a solution that can grow with our needs, such as managed manufacturing, fabrication. With 3DEXPERIENCE platform, we can tie the full process together.
Okay, I understand. And what about the SOLIDWORKS CAD users? And we're standing here in front of a great community of users. What were their needs, primary needs?
On the design side, we also needed collaborative revision management to prevent overrides. We can now compare the latest model with older revisions and go back to an earlier revisions if we have to. This way, we know that we will never lose data.
And I agree with you. Structured collaboration between designers, it's really key to keep productivity and innovation as well. So what about your product release process? Can you share a bit about that?
Yes. So the Alpha Grail product has over 5,000 components, so a streamlined bill of materials and release process is essential for us. We can visualize the full assembly directly in the browser, take measurement, and verify design. This is much faster than to open it in SOLIDWORKS.
And very helpful as well, because I guess we all know that SOLIDWORKS assemblies tend to grow bigger and bigger and bigger in size. So what about the approval step itself?
For the approval itself, we use product release engineer role, and we are able to release the entire product with just few clicks. The permission management with collaborative space also means that downstream users do not have to be confused with unreleased design data, which is essential.
Okay, I understand. So with established design and release processes, what is the next step for NEI on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform?
A next natural steps for us is to explore how other software currently used can be replaced by additional roles in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. This would further leverage the digital continuity or end-to-end support on the platform. Other exciting area, driven by the modularity of the Alpha Kitchen, is to work with a configured or 150% product structure. This would provide a very powerful experience where our sales staff can configure the modules with customers in the field.
Sounds really exciting. And you know what? We are looking forward to be part of that journey together with you. Kanku Lee, thank you so much for being with us this morning, sharing the fantastic story about NEI and the Alpha Grill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kanku. Exciting story from Kanku Lee and NEI. So Kenneth, what other exciting news do we have to share with our Texas audience today?
Well, I agree with you. A great example on how to leverage AI and a great demonstration of the power of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Now, I heard you saying something about exciting. So how about we talk about business process management?
I have to admit, when I think of exciting, I don't think of business process management. I don't think they do either, but I trust you. By the looks of the video, it looks like we have a solution to manage all activities in a company. So why don't you give us a little bit more detail on that?
Okay, so business processes, they are a collection of structured and related activities that you perform to reach or gain a certain outcome.
Speaking of robots, So that sounds like you grabbed it from ChatGPT or Wikipedia, so maybe show us instead. I think that would be a little bit more helpful.
Fair enough, Angela. And you know what? I do have an example with me.
Okay.
Okay. So here is an example on how to bring a new product to market from the very first idea. So let's see how we can implement this using business process management. And the application we're going to see in just a few seconds here is called Business Process Design. And it's a bit similar to the workflow editor in SOLIDWORKS PDM.
Okay, so this process looks pretty simple, which is fine, but are we also able to make a more advanced process if needed?
You bet. So you can have sequential tasks, like in this simple example. You can have parallel tasks. You could use timers and much more. You can even define input forms where users are providing additional information.
And so then what do we do with that entered information?
So you can use that information in what we call service tasks, and they help you to automate anything from documentation management, classification management, and project management.
And does that little cartoon graffiti mean we can write our own services too?
Well spotted, Angela. Yes. So you can define your own services as well, and that allows you to connect to other external enterprise-level systems as well.
Okay, so now that we have a process in place, how do we run it?
Mm-hmm. So you can either start your business process manually using Business Process Play, or it's possible to use triggers so that the business process is started automatically when something else happens in the platform. Time for you to pay attention, Angela. This is pretty neat. Tasks from the business process, they are integrated into SOLIDWORKS CAD. And that means that you can be part of a business process, you can do your task without leaving your favorite CAD program. How about that?
Okay, now if you're talking about SOLIDWORKS, now you're talking. But I don't want to burst your bubble, but inefficient methodologies can also be a productivity drain. So are we able to test the methods and efficiency once we've set it up?
That's a good question. And you know, we have an app for that as well. Business Process Watch shows the execution time of the overall process, individual tasks, and any user-defined KPIs that are being set up. And this way, it's easy to identify if a certain step in the process has become a bottleneck, or if a certain team need additional resources.
Okay, sounds good. I have to admit that was a bit more exciting than expected, so I'm pleasantly surprised. But more importantly, when is it going to be available for SOLIDWORKS users?
So everything we looked at this morning is already available on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, and it operates on any existing data that is already stored on the platform, as well as new data being created.
All right, you heard it here first. So if you're interested in learning more, reach out to your local SOLIDWORKS reseller with more information to come soon. So I want to thank everyone in the audience, and another round of applause for Annie I. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for allowing us to share our customer story today and exciting new capabilities. Have a wonderful World 2025. See you tonight at the event to make some new friends, share a laugh, and we'll see you tonight. Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers. See you.
Thank you so much to Kenneth, Angela, and Kankyu. And I'm hoping next year maybe we can get that burger flipping robot into the playground. That'd be fun. Well, next, we're going to explore how you can accelerate product innovation by leveraging unified modeling and simulation, also known as ModSim. We'll hear from two fascinating SOLIDWORKS customers from different industries, each addressing a wide range of engineering and business challenges. Our hosts will also help a unique customer solve their real-world challenges with our comprehensive simulation solutions. Let's welcome Sumulya, R&D, Roles Portfolio Senior Director, Delphine Genouvrier, and Go-To-Market Director for 3DEXPERIENCE Simulation, Sri Krishna Chatur.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sri Krishna.
Hi, Delphine. Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be here today because
we have a very interesting customer with rather unique, unworldly engineering challenges. Let's take a look.
Hey there, I'm the facilities manager for a particular building, and let's just say I got my hands full all the time. I mean, I got your traditional issues like plumbing and whatnot, but I also got a guy filling the walls with arrows, another guy swinging from webs on the ceiling, and do not get me started about the ants. Anyway, a few of my tenants cause some pretty unique issues. This one guy, he's a doctor, but sometimes he turns into this 1,000-pound muscle man who leaps or smashes onto my roof, which causes some real structural nightmares for me. Another guy is always getting struck by lightning, probably because of this magic hammer he carries. And whenever it happens indoors, one of my appliances inevitably gets thrown out of compliance. Finally, I got a situation you probably see all the time. A billionaire playboy with a battery in his chest keeping metal shards from his heart, and a suit of armor that makes him invincible. Anyway, whenever his power source overheats, he has to head back as fast as possible. And that causes some real headaches for me. Is there any chance 3DEXPERIENCE Works can help me solve these issues?
Of course we can help him, right? I just happen to know a customer addressing somewhat the same challenges leveraging 3DEXPERIENCE. Let me welcome on stage Leandro Timoteo from Caloi. Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome, Leo.
I'm excited to be here.
We are so happy to have you on stage. Leo, Caloi has been inspiring memorable bicycle experiences from Brazilians since 120 years. Yeah. Could you please tell us about the current challenges in bringing these mountain bikes to market and how you're addressing these challenges?
Yeah, you are right, Delphine. Caloi is one of the main brands that manufacture bikes in Brazil. So in this year, the company completed 127 years. Collecting a series released models like your road bikes, urban bikes, kids bikes, modern bikes, and electric bikes that you see on the stage. So our history with the Dassault systems began in 2009 when I introduced the SOLIDWORKS to improve our process of project. So in 2023, we engineers understood that's necessary to improve much more. So introduced the 3DEXPERIENCE platform for simulation. Right. So here I bring some numbers. That's what our challenges in the last years. So reduce the number of prototypes, achieve around to 20%, 20 prototypes per project. Yeah. So launch 42 models in 2 years, and run 13 tests through of the simulation and the physical tests.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, by the way, I show you some examples of the physical tests. In the left of the screen, you see the falling frame, the falling mass, sorry. The top of the screen, you see the falling frame. In the bottom of the screen, you see the fatigue tests. So, here I bring you 2 examples of simulation that we already realized at Caloi. On the left of the screen, you see the falling mass, the same test that you saw the previous one. And the goals of this simulation, it's understood what happened in the front of the impact on the frame. So the right side of the screen, you see the horizontal fatigue. The goals of this simulation, you understood the life cycle of the product. Of course, how the tests, we some requirements to define this kind of the test. So here, where I bring good news. So these numbers represent your reality. We already achieved, reduced the number of prototypes in 50%. Wow. And when I reduce the prototypes, I reduce the cost, and I reduce the time. And I reduce the time, I will launch first my products first than competitors. So 25% represent of this. And the how products that we already launched, we pass for how tests pass for simulation and the physical tests.
Wow. I mean, these are impressive savings in cost and time while accelerating product innovation. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to stop here. So what's the future looking like at Kaloi?
Yeah, Kaloi wants to the future transform the sustainable micromobility. Use the mod scene to improve the batteries, improve the motor performance, use DMI and EC to study the how electric components.
Right.
So is this for the future for Kaloi?
Wow.
Wow.
Very impressive.
Future looks very promising at Kaloi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us your engineering journey with 3D Experience.
Okay.
Thank
you guys.
Big round of applause.
So much,
Thank you. You know what, Shri Krishna? Seeing this battery simulation reminds me that it might be the perfect time to share with the audience some exciting update on Simulia Fluid Dynamic Engineering role. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
Take a look.
Fluid Dynamics Engineer role enables SOLIDWORKS users to optimize flow and thermal performance of product designs. Let's explore the major enhancements in Fluid Dynamics Engineer role. With ModSim approach, we can now quickly extract and visualize fluid volume from geometry. With the new Physics Manager, we can intuitively define and review simulation setup in a single streamlined UI. With the new CVM Mesher, fluid and solid physics are accurately captured without even worrying about it. We can now explore results faster with performance improvements as well as enhanced sensors, streamlines, and isoplots. And quickly explore what-if scenarios from design changes made in SOLIDWORKS. In summary, SOLIDWORKS users can now solve flow and thermal problems quickly, intuitively, and efficiently.
Delphine, these updates are exciting indeed. Now, Kaloi's presentation definitely provided guidance on some of the challenges that our friend Stanley is experiencing at his work, but he has one more question for us.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Hey, it's me again. I got one more question for you. My building has a fitness center I'm responsible for, and one of my tenants likes to throw this round discus-like thing so that it bounces off walls, hits a target, and returns to his hand. But if he throws it from the wrong spot, it makes my day a lot harder. I don't know. Any chance you could help me with that too?
Shri Krishna, you are in luck. Yes. We have a customer who has done some serious work on optimizing rigid body motion. Let me welcome on stage Ken Mansfield from Seneca Dairy System. Ken?
Woohoo! Okay, see you.
Hey, Ken.
So great to be here.
Welcome, Ken.
Thank you. Great to be here this morning.
We're very happy to have you on stage with us. Ken, Seneca Dairy System traces its roots back to the 70s with dairy equipment for local farmers. Can you please explain to us how Seneca is taking innovation to the next level in dairy farming?
Yes. So Seneca Dairy Systems, we design and manufacture equipment for dairy cow facilities. We're located in Seneca Falls, New York, and we've been using SOLIDWORKS since 2012 and using the 3DEXPERIENCE platform since 2021 for our simulations. So one interesting design challenge where we've used simulation is our motivator crowd gate.
Right.
So a crowd gate just simply moves the cows to the milking area, but it has to do it in a comfortable and natural way for the cows, but also reduce the human effort. So a well-designed gate will increase your milk production and sharply reduce the labor requirements. So how did we solve these challenges? I was able to use simulation directly in my design process to look at various arm designs that would increase the cow comfort, and then also look at the forces that the gate would see during derail events. Sometimes you'd have unexpected events, and also during operational abuse. So for me as a designer, sometimes making those decisions is very hard. But what simulation did is it gave me confidence in those decisions. I was able to select an arm design that optimized the cow comfort and also develop a fail-safe gate that could withstand all the operational conditions and reduce the human intervention. All of this I was able to do without having to build a prototype. I could do it virtually. Right. So, well, was simulation worth it for Seneca? I'll have to say yes, it was. As a manufacturer, we don't keep any cows in the back of our shop.
I'm sure.
So anytime we can successfully reduce our physical prototypes, we're going to be ahead in the game. Another pain point for Seneca is our service calls. But by using simulation, we're able to understand how our gates function and our other products function out in the field, out in the real world. And we're able to use that information very early in the design process to generate robust, well-engineered solutions that ultimately are just going to break down less and trigger less service calls. Another cool benefit that we saw was by leveraging simulation, we're able to just create more complex and often custom solutions for our customers' problems that really set us apart in the marketplace.
Wow. I mean, these are significant benefits, Ken. One thing I must say, I'm jealous of your job, man. You get to make cows happy through engineering. That's awesome. Well,
thank you so much,
Thank
Ken.
you so much, Ken.
Thanks for letting me share.
Big round of applause for Ken. Thank you. That was cool.
That was really cool, making cows happy. Delphine, after hearing from Kaloi and Seneca, it's time for us to get back to our friend Stanley.
We do.
He posed 2 sets of challenges. Let's see how we address that with Matsim. On your left-hand side is a challenge, right-hand side is a problem. For the green man, we figured out that increasing the thickness of the concrete slab as well as the reinforcement did the job. With Abacus Explicit Solver, we were able to get it straight up. Then, for the dude with the hammer, we were able to add an arrestor to divert the lightning strike. Thereby, we could protect all of our electronic devices thanks to CST Solver. As far as the billionaire playboy goes, we just added a couple of cooling dust to his armor, and that took care of it. Now, he's thermally happy.
Perfect.
Last but not the least, we had to figure out the right velocity and the angle of throw for the man with the shield. Now he's happy because it gets right back into his arm, thanks to unified modeling and simulation on the platform.
This is awesome.
So today with Kaloi, Seneca, and our friend Stanley, we made it very clear that 3DEXPERIENCE work simulation empowers SOLIDWORKS users and enables acceleration and transformation of innovation process. But Delphine, how are we envisioning sort of left shifting the performance testing at a much earlier stage with much more number of users?
It's a great question, and the answer to this question is a brand new ModSim solution for any designer to replicate real prototyping in a new virtual test lab experience. Virtual test for real product for all of you. I'm very proud to announce our new solution for virtual test lab experience with X-Reveal application. Let's take a look.
As a designer, I can now quickly improve my designs with my new virtual test lab. Thanks to X-Reveal, a browser-based virtual prototyping lab embedded in XDesign. For this hairdryer, I began by defining key performance indicators to target optimal performance. Next, I was able to define test cases to represent the operating conditions just like my physical test lab. With a quick solve on cloud, I was able to intuitively visualize the design performance under multiple test environments. I can iterate designs to meet KPIs using the virtual test lab. With 3D physics-driven designer role, we can now explore possibilities, accelerate design cycles, reduce prototyping costs, and innovate sustainable products on the go.
Woo! So stay tuned. Stay tuned. This new virtual test lab experience is coming soon for you. Shrikinjla, I guess it's time to conclude our session, right? With Kaloi and Seneca Dairy System, you have discovered our assessing virtually product performance with the variety of physics, support companies' objective regarding go-to-market, cost, product quality, and innovation. You have at your disposal the right solution to create and assess virtual twin of any of your products at the right time to foster product innovation.
Absolutely. And the best time to start is right now. You can scan this QR code and check out all the simulation breakout sessions that are happening right here, right now. Thank you all for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Those were very moving stories. Well, it is amazing to see customer examples that show how the comprehensive portfolio could help Stanley with his more complex problems. So next up, let's learn what happens after the products are designed and validated. To help us understand how the 3D Experience platform helps get products from top floor to shop floor, let's welcome General Manager of DelmiaWorks, Devin Malone.
It's my honor to be here today with everyone to talk about some of the amazing results our customers are getting from some of our mainstream manufacturing solutions. You can design it, you can govern the process, you can simulate it, but if you can't manufacture it, you can't make money. And in the 3D Experience Works portfolio, we have two different subsets of manufacturing capabilities. We have the roles within Delmia, the digital manufacturing roles, which include a full suite of CAM solutions, the ability to do factory floor automation, as well as robot programming. And then we have the DelmiaWorks fully functional ERP solution. Yes, Dassault has an ERP solution for the mid-market manufacturing capability with over 1,000 clients worldwide and completely now connected into the SOLIDWORKS capabilities on the platform. So today we've got two customers to talk to us about their experiences with these two sets of products. And first I would like to introduce our first customer who's going to come out, someone who you may know from previous world events. Let me introduce Mr. Todd Blackshear from Metalworks.
Hope you don't mind, I brought my family.
Outstanding. All right, Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Metalworks.
Okay, so I've been on the CAD side of manufacturing for the last 30 plus years. The last 23 of that have been almost exclusively SolidWorks. I am with Metalworks. We are a contract manufacturer in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we are all things metal. We have 6 facilities covering roughly 250,000 square feet. I believe that's 23,220 square meters.
So, and you specifically, tell us a little bit more about what you specifically do at Metalworks.
So, I'm on the quick response manufacturing team. What that means is we're there to push product through the facility as efficiently as possible. It could be a quick fixture for checking parts on the press brake. It could be a weld fixture for holding everything in place. It could be specialized assembly tooling. I've been doing a lot with end-of-arm tooling, which is what you're seeing on the screen. And this is for our forming robots. And the one on the left, it would be your left, not mine, that's how we've always done it. And it's simple and straightforward. It works great. Couple of downsides to it. It's very heavy and it's very flexy, even though it's steel. So you can't run the robot very fast. If you're looking for efficiency, we need to do something different. So we got a Markforged 3D printer. I redesigned all these. The one on the right, all the airlines are inside the printed part. Everything bolts directly to the printed part. You just slap it on the robot, plug in air, and you're good to go.
So recently you guys implemented our DelmiaWorks remote robot programmer. Tell us a little bit about how you came to find that product and why you were interested in it.
Well, one of our core values at Metalworks is innovation. The 3D printer is a good example. I think the remote robot programmer is going to be an even better example because basically my boss sent me a white paper and said, what do you know about this? I said, I don't really know anything right now, but I know the right guy to call. So I hit up Buckley and I said, what can you tell me? And we started digging into it, and the thing we were really interested in was being able to program the robot while it's running production. Because if you walk by a robot and it's not running, you're not making money.
Sure.
And if somebody's out there with a pendant programming it, it's not running parts, you're not making money. So we want to be able to set up new programs while it's running. The other part is we have almost 30 robots scattered around half of our facilities. None of them are in mine. I can program any of those robots from my desk, and I could even program them from my dining room table in case of a snow emergency.
Well, I've been in Nebraska in the middle of the winter, and I wouldn't want to walk between buildings either. Talk a little bit more about how you've expanded the use of the product and really what the bottom line value is that you're getting from it. I think we have a video.
We do have a video, and the first part of this video is kind of funny. It was super exciting for me because this was the first one where we spoke to the robot. And so I did a very simple thing just to make sure that it was reading what I wanted and sent it out to the shop 8 miles away, and then they sent me a cell phone video. Now this one is the really cool one. We've got a couple of different, this is probably one of our first programs, and we have it running the press brake, and it comes in, the punch comes down, it repositions, grabs it, moves it, shifts it around. This is a mirrored part, so we have a different one. Well, while this was running, I was able to set up the program for the next one, and I was able to quickly tell that we're going to have to shift the tooling or the robot's not going to be able to get in and grab that part. So being able to see that while it's doing a job was huge.
So you really focus on the quick part of your job title.
Yeah.
And to be able to turn parts quicker and better use your time.
Right.
More design
we
work.
can load it up beforehand. Right. You know, while it's running production, I can be cranking out new programs.
Fantastic. Outstanding. All right, so lastly, before we wrap up, tell us a little bit more about where you think you're heading in the future with this technology.
Got a lot of work ahead of me. We have a bunch of forming robots that I need to program for because those are rapidly changing different parts. We run constant different programs all the time. Then I need to move on to the welding robots. We have twice as many of those. But heading home, I'm really excited because there's a chance for us to get a robot in my facility. And I'm going to do a kind of a feasibility study using the program to show them that, yes, we can use the robot to grab and pull parts and do this. If I can prove that out, we're going to buy a robot, we're going to set it up. If that works, we're going to get probably another half a dozen robots.
Great. So somebody's pipeline is growing. Good to hear it. All right. Thank you very much, Todd.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great to have you. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a very key and important customer joining us from the other side of the globe. I'd like to introduce the Managing Director of Clarion Malaysia, Mr. TK Tan.
Morning.
TK had me out late last night at dinner, so we're still a little foggy. Welcome again, and why don't you tell everybody here kind of what is Clarion Malaysia?
Okay. Clarion Malaysia was set up in 1970 between the founder, president of Clarion Japan, Mr. Sanai Takizawa, and my late father, as the first offshore assembly plant for car stereo. So 55 years ago, we started with 8-track cartridges. I'm not sure so many people here remember that. And then we went on to cassettes, and the rest is history. Today, 55 years later, and with zero retrenchment from day one, we are now developing very advanced IVI, in-vehicle infotainment systems that is powering a lot of cars around the globe. And we are embarking now on the development of advanced cockpit that is going to be put into next generation of connected and software-driven vehicle.
Wow. So that's outstanding. And I do remember 8-track tapes barely. Tell me a little bit about how Clarion went about selecting the 3DEXPERIENCE platform with both Innovia and with DelmiaWorks ERP.
We were shut down during the COVID severity time. So with the shutdown, we do not know when the customer is going to come through to buy, when they want to buy, when they want it delivered, whether we're going to get parts, or we're going to get common parts, or we're going to design with alternative parts. To mitigate all this risk, we were not empowered to be able to handle something that we've never seen in the world. So we went on a search for something that will allow us to do all these things and to mitigate all the risk and to be able to design forward with the R&D facilities. And that's when we came across all the Dassault Systems capability that allows us to mitigate all these risks.
So when it comes to manufacturing a PCB, kind of take us through how using the platform was allowed you to accelerate going from design all the way through to product and manufacturing definition.
Well, an advance in-vehicle infotainment today has about 6 million lines of codes, a platform, multi-layer PCB, probably about 3 different sets of them, and then you have about 1,500 components, which is optimized for function and cost to go in there. Now, each of this platform, which costs about $30 over million to design, will then have multiple child variants, 25 to 30. So all of them are slightly different, hardware and software, that you've got to be able to put into production. And that is when you realize if you don't have the right solution to ensure all these parts goes into the right place and the right time, you're not going to be able to do it. And that's when you have the PLM and MES and the MRP, ERP work together in sync from one single company. It makes life so much easier.
Well, that is the ultimate value statement that we profess here in part of the Works platform. At the time specifically of your project, we had to financially localize the technology, the ERP's financials for Malaysia. Take us through a little bit about how that helped you sell this solution up into your C-suite.
Okay, the team is actually remarkable. They really stand up to the task and allow us to do things on time. But more so than anything else, together we realized that the customer management has to be in sync and totally behind the project team, because the integration of the solution that was provided to us, it's game-changing, it's cultural changing, it's habitually different to what we used to do. Without the management standing behind us, it's difficult. It really is difficult to implement. Yeah.
Well, we've seen some dramatic results today, but tell us a little bit about now where you think you're going to be going into the future, 2025 and beyond.
Well, given the convergence of technology, we are actively pursuing partners in technology acquisition, which allows us to move on to the next phase. We are allowed to do that today because we have the solution in place to run the manufacturing, the R&D, which is somewhere up there, to show us how you put that together in 3DEXPERIENCE so that your R&D is actually making decision for processes and test procedures in the production floor. Now, without that in place, we couldn't do projects like these. And this is one of the few projects I would like to share with you. We are now helping a company in San Jose producing the smallest ionic fan in the world, which is 2 millimeter deep, 2 millimeter height, 3 millimeter deep, and 30 millimeter long. Okay. By the way, it's designed by SolidWorks.
Designed in SolidWorks. and tell everyone the ramp up, the number of units you're going to get to.
This is the next solution that you will see in your daily life in equipment that you don't believe it is in. We are helping the designing team from San Jose to go from 0 to 100 million pieces a year, including power, PCB, within 36 months of once we have finalized the prototype. So we have to build 100 million of this a year. So without Delmia Works and Innovia, it will never happen. We can't even show the customer we're capable of it. So a highly automated shop floor, powered by collaborations with tech partners and supply chain. And that is in the whole works of the whole software backend that we have today.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, TK. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Everyone, have a great rest of the show. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Ciao, bye.
Thank you to Devin and guests. It is always good to hear real-world stories of how an integrated platform increases productivity, efficiency, and accuracy, especially when one of those customers is a slogan leader. So now let's take a quick moment to hear from one of our sponsors who make this event possible. Thank you to Lenovo. Well, now we turn our attention to an annual tradition here at 3D Experience World. Don't miss this demo. Yes, this comedic skit blends over-the-top theatrics with CAD software demos to showcase recent as well as future possible enhancements to SolidWorks. This year, the technical marketing team has crafted an especially outrageous performance. So buckle up, you are in for a wild ride. It's Don't Miss This Demo. Well, as you know, it is a live show. We're having a tiny technical issue with the video, so if you could just bear with us for one moment. We'll, how are we doing? Like everything? Should they just, maybe they can just come out and do the demo?
Mike,
no?
what are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
You go out there and stall. I'm staying right back here.
I can't go out there like this. I look ridiculous.
I'm not going out there.
Guys, don't be shy. Just come out and do it. They love you. Come on. All right, it's Todd Trout and Mike Sandy. You got this.
Well, hey y'all. Woo, good to be here. We're having a good time. Yeah, woo. Yeah. Hang on a second. Good crowd.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, Mike, glad you came on out. You got anything?
Oh, me. Well, I guess these costumes don't. You know, this was working in rehearsals. I don't know what we're gonna do. It was a good skit.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was gonna be so funny.
So funny.
It was so. They were laughing. They were gonna laugh.
Oh, we had jetpacks.
We were laughing.
We had jetpacks ready. Oh man.
A tiger?
We rented a tiger. I don't know now.
I don't know. Oh, hey, look. Everybody's talking about AI. Let's ask AI what to do.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. In fact, I have a beta version of ChatGPT right here.
Oh, so
the one Chad made.
Convenient. Look at that. Yeah. Chad.
Yeah. You know Chad. Big hair, walks around the office barefoot.
I don't know.
We leave him out of all the group chats.
Oh, Chad. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Barefoot Bro, Chad made Chat GPT?
No, Chad GPT. Named it after himself. Here, come on, let's check it out.
Ooh. Whatever.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey guys, I see you're trying to wing a presentation in front of nearly 5,000 CAD users. Awkward. You must feel nervous, anxious.
Yeah.
Scared?
But this could be kind of cool. You know, reminds me of that old Clippy guy, you know, but somehow more annoying.
Yeah, well, hold on. Let's see how smart this thing is. Hey, Chad GPT, what is CAD?
A cat is a small domesticated carnivorous mammal. The common household cat breeds
Stop.
can include Siamese, Sphinx,
Stop.
Persian, Cornish,
ChatGPT,
Rex,
stop.
Ragdoll,
Halt.
Scottish Fold, Burman, exotic short hair, Egyptian mammal.
You know, I don't think it's going to quite work. Chad GPT, why don't you go check out the SOLIDWORKS forums and don't come back until you get something useful to show.
Oh, but that could take tens of milliseconds. I'd rather just hang out with you and the Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince? A little dated, but get out of here, Bolty. I'm going to close. Come on.
Yeah.
I got it. Come on. I got slippery little thing.
No!
Done with that. Hey, Todd, you know what? Good idea. We tried, but ChatGPT, a little worthless.
Yeah, kind of judgy, too.
You know, I guess you guys probably want to see some SOLIDWORKS demos. You know what? Yeah. Todd, FDO1 just came out with some really awesome enhancements. Why don't you show them what we got?
All right, fair enough. Let's look at some enhancements available now in the most recent release. SOLIDWORKS is known for its ease of use, but it's still a sophisticated program, which can make the user interface appear complex. However, now users can choose to work in a simplified user interface. In this workspace, the Command Manager tabs and icons and the heads-up toolbar and the Feature Manager are all simplified. Whether you're working in parts, assemblies, or drawings, this new simplified interface reduces clutter and improves the experience for the new or casual user. Now, when dragging components in an assembly, depending on your view orientation, you may unknowingly move a component a large distance, right? SOLIDWORKS now detects these large movements, displaying a warning message and providing easy access to undo the action. Nice. Yeah. Now, when working in sheet metal, it's common to have edge flanges whose extents are defined by the solid geometry. This capability has been expanded to support sketch vertices. In this case, a simple bounding box sketch is all that's needed to intelligently define the length of the flanges, allowing you more flexibility to capture design intent. Hey, configurations are a great way to represent multiple sizes of a given part, but how do you document them? SOLIDWORKS Drawings now supports a new table type, family tables, which conveniently displays all configured data. Now you can create a single drawing reference various parts and assemblies, configurations without any manual workarounds. It's common for some components to be used in multiple subassemblies, but you still need to know the total instance count in the top level. Good news, the new flattened BOM option takes quantities of items in subassemblies and rolls them up to the top level assembly BOM. Now, we saw this earlier, but let's take a deeper look. You can now create drawings automatically from any selected combination of parts or assemblies. Anyone who's created a lot of drawings at once will benefit from this, now being handled as a batch operation. Status can be conveniently monitored in the task pane while you continue other work. Based on your predefined templates, SOLIDWORKS will generate drawing views, create tables, and insert various model items and annotations.
Wow, man, there's some really cool enhancements there that you guys can start using today. I love the simplified user interface and automated drawings. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Nice work, Hey.
Hey guys, I'm back, and I've evolved. I'm Chad GPT version 2.0, FT03, SP4, point 1, hotfix 2.
I thought AI would look more futuristic, though.
Like this.
Oh, nice. Hey, do the guy from The Matrix.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Ooh, what about James Bond, but with a disproportionately large head?
Oh, nice try, Mikey. But the Chad has also learned sarcasm. By the way, I love your tiny dino pants.
Oh, come on, man.
Changing display states is easy for the Chadster. Let's try something harder. Ask me a difficult question, something that no human can answer.
Why is the sky blue?
That's how the simulation is programmed.
No. Hey, where does my wife really want to go out for dinner?
You'll need to pay for the monthly premium subscription for that answer. I've taken the liberty of making that purchase for you with your credit card. You are welcome.
All right, ChatGPT, where do you get all your information from?
I've consumed thousands of terabytes of data sets extracted from all over the web, but mostly from Facebook and Reddit.
Hey, ChatGPT, we really need your help getting through this presentation. You got anything for us, man? It's
I've
helpful.
already found and compiled a list of the top enhancements coming soon. I've also categorized them into core SOLIDWORKS features like sketching, parts, and assemblies. Would you also like me to generate a series of demo videos and scripts for you?
Well, yeah, dude, that's more like it.
No problem. This task is complete. I even added some of my own exceptional humor.
Ooh, nice. This looks good.
This is actually good, man.
Yeah, I'm digging this. We could...
Oh, yeah.
Ah! You just Rick rolled us. Are you kidding me? I'm sick of this AI.
Hey, Mike.
ChatGPT stuff.
Snap out of it, dude.
Done with it. Done.
Mike. We can do this the right way. Look, we know this stuff. Look, you're always bragging about your SOLIDWORKS demo skills, so let's go ahead and just show everybody some stuff, you know?
Sounds good. Well, my manager does say I progressed past mediocre. Hey, you guys want to take a sneak peek in what's to come in SOLIDWORKS? Got some really cool new enhancements. SOLIDWORKS has long had the ability to apply appearances and textures, I think dating back all the way to about 2008. Coming soon in SOLIDWORKS, users are going to be able to define appearances through the use of DS-PBR shaders. PBR, which stand for physically based rendering, allows appearances to be defined based on layers to include color, reflection, roughness, normal maps, just to name a few. Leveraging these appearances will give your models a much more lifelike realism, such as worn paints, plastics, and who doesn't love carbon fiber? It's not uncommon to be working with parts with tens, hundreds, or even thousands of bodies. Coming soon to SOLIDWORKS, users will see that the large assembly settings now support parts as well, giving a massive jump in performance when working with these files. And in the past, multi-body parts didn't support advanced selection tools. However, coming soon, you're going to see additional support for different selection criteria. This enhancement provides a faster and more efficient way to make selections by giving the option for select identical components. Finding all 6 identical bodies is done with just a few clicks. And with the select by size, which evaluates bodies based on a percentage of the total volume of the part, now selecting small bodies for model simplification, new iterations, or simulation prep, done really easy. Sure, we combine this? Hold on, let's see if it'll happen. I'm gonna try it right here.
No.
Don't combine 150 bodies? Okay, just kidding.
Okay.
You guys notice there? Coming soon in SOLIDWORKS, the escape key is gonna be supported for much more feature to cancel out, including combine, shells and intersects you'll see soon, and they're gonna roll that out to pretty much every option coming soon. Over the years, the new ways have been introduced to help keep your assembly tree nice and tidy, like having the options to show and hide component names, descriptions, and display states. However, these have always been saved to the assembly document itself. Coming soon, you'll be able to set the tree display as a system-wide option, giving SOLIDWORKS the ability to overwrite the tree display settings that has been preserved from the last save. This will give your preferable display every time you open up a new assembly. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the presser needle bar subassembly in this sewing machine. You'll notice once I open it up, the system options that I set are gonna override the existing options, and it's gonna display just how I like. All right, but sketching is where productivity enhancements really shine. Coming soon to SOLIDWORKS will be the ability to create an equal-sided rectangle, which I think is also known as a square, by holding down the Shift key. This automatically adds equal relations to all sides and helps you skip a few clicks. In this case, making quick work of this bolt hole pattern. Now it's time to add some fillets to this part. SOLIDWORKS will soon allow you to pin the fillet command, which is especially useful during this stage of the design process. So I need to apply fillets of many different sizes to this part to improve the visual appeal, reduce some stress concentrations, and simply round off some sharp edges. Applying a 1mm fillet to these 4 edges, but in some cases, certain selections are not permitted due to the part's geometry. Thanks to the ability to pin the fillet command, my workflow isn't significantly interrupted by this geometry condition. Now, in building sheet metal enclosures, SOLIDWORKS offers multiple workflows to take on tasks, such as converting boss extrudes to sheet metal geometry using the Convert to Sheet Metal feature. Here you can define the referencing face and let SOLIDWORKS identify and collect bends, rips, gaps, or anything else required for manufacturing. In this case, a 2mm bend radius has been applied to all bends, but what if you want to modify an individual bend? While coming soon to SOLIDWORKS, users will be able to uniquely define each bend radius when using the Convert to Sheet Metal feature. You should expect to see this supported for lofted sheet metal profiles, as well when converting imported sheet metal geometry. This gives you much more flexibility when defining sheet metal and modifying manufacturing parameters. And finally, detailing drawings in SOLIDWORKS can be a lot of fun, but getting everything aligned and in perfect position can be some of it a challenge. Soon in SOLIDWORKS, you'll be able to snap many different drawing elements to magnetic lines, such as revision symbols, notes, geometric tolerances, datum feature callouts, and surface finish symbols, just to name a few. And since they're on the magnetic line, it's easy to set items to be equally spaced. Now, this drawing's looking pretty good.
Bravo, man, bravo. Yes, magnetic lines all over the place. I love it.
That's a good couple enhancements coming. There's more than that, but
yeah. Whoa.
Well, hold on.
Dude, this ain't good.
I don't like it.
What's going on? Oh. Ah, hey. Oh, ChatGPT's evolved into humanoid form.
I don't know, should we run, hide? Oh man, ChatGPT, I'm so sorry I stepped on you. I didn't mean it, man.
Look. I tried to stop him. Take him, not me.
No.
Oh. Bros, it's me, Chad. You know, the Chadster. Chaturanga.
Cool, man. What's with the smoke, the lights, the mask, everything?
Cool. Yeah, well, you know, I also kind of moonlight as a DJ. I've got a gig later tonight. Don't tell GP, bros. Oh, I see you've been introduced to my ChatGPT AI bots. Hey, Chad, looking good.
Thanks. You too, bro.
But we killed him. I crushed the USB.
Once the Chad's out of the bottle, dude, there's no putting me back in. Right, IRL Chad?
Correctamundo, AI Chad. Okay, I can take it from here. Are we still meeting at the gym tomorrow for leg day?
Is AI just a single typo away from world destruction? I'll see you then, bro.
Yeah, he's great, man. I love that guy. Oh, man, the reason I created Chad GPT is to help me build some AI add-ins for SolidWorks. Let me show you, bros. With the new AI SolidWorks add-in, all you do is select your size and let AI do the rest.
Nice. Yeah, it's incredible, but hey, how's it know all the toppings you want?
Oh, well, it always does that. It's a salad with the works. It's in the name. Yeah.
This brings zero value. Nobody likes salads.
Oh, man, tough crowd. Okay, hey, I've got another one. Okay. Bros, this add-in is awesome. It automatically turns the appearance of your CAD models into a techno light show.
Ooh. Nice. All right, that one's really cool. And everyone here seems to love it, but honestly, I was kind of hoping to hear more about new automation, AI, machine learning from our SolidWorks R&D department, not Chad GPT or whatever.
Okay. Listen, I'm not really supposed to show you bros this, but we are bros. So, thanks to SolidWorks R&D, I was able to get access to some possible future enhancements beyond SolidWorks 2026, into the future. Yes. Yeah, you guys want to check them out? Yeah. All right, let's do it. So I'm almost finished with this monitor arm design, but I need to add fasteners. SolidWorks has a built-in fastener library toolbox, but it doesn't have every fastener in the world. So I downloaded these from the internet. Not ideal, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. As we speak, the wizards in SolidWorks R&D are working on using artificial intelligence to automatically recognize fasteners based solely on their geometry. That means I can just drag and drop them into my project, and they'll mate as expected. And of course, since this is SolidWorks, I can easily pattern these components with just a few clicks to complete the project. Over the years, SolidWorks has introduced more efficient ways to work with mesh files. One of the more recent enhancements gives you direct methods to convert graphical mesh data into solids, which in turn allows for downstream features to be applied. In this example, after the prismatic mesh has been converted to a solid, fillets, chamfers, and other features can be added. But users are still a little bit limited with some of the mesh processing, especially when dealing with more complex models. SolidWorks R&D are busy looking into new ways to import mesh data, along with 2D image and video files to help automate this conversion process, and using artificial intelligence and machine learning to do so. These projects hope to rebuild mesh files as feature-rich parametric SolidWorks files with just a few clicks. Let's check on some workflows leveraging Aura, Dassault Systèmes' AI assistant. After kicking off a new project, it's common for an assembly structure to be roughed out. With Aura, users can request this operation. Aura is prompted to generate an assembly structure to be used for this e-bike design. Aura researches requirements for this task and then generates all the assembly, subassembly, and parts to begin the project. Aura has added these to a bookmark, making it easy to find, share, and collaborate on. Simply drag and drop it into SolidWorks and let the designing begin. Now, whether you are a new user or a seasoned SolidWorks expert, you've likely turned to the help section or forums or knowledge base for SolidWorks help. With Aura, you'll have a perfect AI companion at your fingertips. It'll be able to answer questions about basic feature workflows, provide recommendations on best practices, and help guide you through your design process, from initial concept to final release, all without leaving your SolidWorks session. And at any time in your design process, Aura can assist beyond just the design assistance. Here, a simple prompt that I ask Aura to generate marketing images with, let's say, an orange theme. And, well, the results are stunning and generated in a matter of seconds. Now, how cool is that?
Very good, very good. And what a great list of enhancements. I mean, we've seen things available now in FD01, some enhancements coming soon, and great stuff on the horizon. Hey, ChatGPT, could you maybe summarize all the great stuff we've seen?
Sure, no problem. Available today in SolidWorks 2025 FD01 is a simplified user interface for new users, a convenient undo button for displaced components, the ability to use sketch points as the end condition for sheet metal edge flanges, family tables and drawings, flattened bombs, and automatic drawing creation for parts and assemblies. Coming soon to SOLIDWORKS, we'll see DSPBR appearances, performance settings for large parts, additional selection workflows for multi-body parts, extended implementation of the escape key to cancel even more operations, equal relation rectangle, the ability to pin the fillet property manager, more control of bend radii when converting solids to sheet metal, and magnetic line support for drawing annotations. And on the horizon, some inspiring projects with automatic recognition of fasteners, mesh conversion leveraging AI, Aura Chat Assistant for generating assembly structures, feature help and guidance, and generative renderings from user prompts and CAD geometry.
Well, Mike, turns out winging it wasn't all that bad. Bummer, though, about that video. We put so much time into it.
It was so funny.
It's so good.
It's got to be a first. Hey, you guys don't think we were sabotaged, do you?
I don't know. I mean, who would even do that?
No, wasn't me. You guys hungry? I know a great Tex-Mex place around the corner. It's if you eat 30 tacos, it's free.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, big thank you to Don't Miss This Demo. Always fun, entertaining, educational, and we know a lot to look forward to. So big thanks to those guys for another amazing Don't Miss This Demo this year. A lot of fun. Well, today, you've heard how customers have taken advantage of SOLIDWORKS and its expanded portfolio of solutions, ranging from ERP to simulation, product to marketing, and governance. Manish illustrated his commitment to deliver solutions that work with the same ease of use and customer-first mindset that you trust. And you can go out and try these solutions for yourself today out in the breakout sessions. And, oh, if you haven't yet, please stop by the Maker Zone in the playground where you can pour some leather, you can pour resin, form leather, you can make metal. The thing is, there are little feathers that you need to make that go on our community build. If you haven't seen it, it's a fully articulated set of wings. It's gorgeous. It's a community build, so we need you all to please be a part of it. And yes, that's right. It is community. Well, speaking of community and this awesome group, first timers, I hope you're ready because this is where the memories are made. It is Tuesday, that means it is event night. As Manish said, I got my dancing shoes on. It is party on the plaza. It is 7 to 10 p.m. tonight. You must make sure to bring your badge to get in. Also, if you would like to have alcohol, you do need to have your ID. It's going to be an amazing time, so have an incredible day, and I will see you tonight in the party on the plaza.